Zulaimin, can you check or Humayu once CD joins, then I'll start my. Yeah, thank you, Janina. So once CD joins, I just call him to join.
ADB has been a lake development partner in the energy sector of Bangladesh. The first energy sector assistance of 10.45 million US dollars was approved in 1973 to
Alamgir, can you stop for some time? Yeah. Alamgir? Alamgir?
Yeah, I have stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, just stop. I'm just waiting for CD to join. I just call him. And before starting, I'll just give a brief, welcome and, and then some background of the video presentation. So once CD joins, let me know if he has joined already. Janina, can we unmute CD's? I don't know whether he has joined.
I understand he will join at 10.
No, I asked him to join because I just called him that he could join. Or should we start? He said that he's joining.
Okay, I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, CD. Thank you very much. Yes, now we are ready to go. We are just waiting for your time. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning and good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are based in. So, on behalf of our organizing committee of this business opportunity seminar and my country director, Mr. Adiman Ginting, I, Tika Limbu, Principal Portfolio Management Specialist of Bangladesh Resident Missions of ADB, welcome you all to this business opportunity seminar, which we call BOS of 2021. And we have the house rule that we already displayed. The house rule is that participants are muted, and when you have some certain questions, you could raise your hand, or you could you could also send by message, text message. After that, our administrator will unmute you, and also you could show your face, and also you could unmute your microphone. And chat box is preferred. Also, the hand raising also is okay, so that administrator will know that you are trying to speak and you have a question. And that's the house rule, because it's simple, because we don't have since we are all muted, it's a straightforward house rule. So as per our program, we have now at 9:30, we have a virtual tour of our ADB's key achievement in Bangladesh. As you know, Bangladesh ADB and Bangladesh partnership started in 1973. We have spent 48 years of partnership, and before the opening session, we wanted to take you to a virtual tour where we will showcase our six sector, which and the key achievement of our partnership over 48 years, and also our flagship projects and how we contributed to the development endeavor of Bangladesh over 48 years. And the six sectors that we would be presenting are energy, transport, water and urban, education and health, agriculture, natural resource, and finance. So these six sectors would be presented for 5 minutes each. So that means we will take 30 minutes for the presentation, and the sequence of the presentation will follow as I have spoken. So now over to Alamgir, that you could give your video presentation. Thank you very much.
ADB has been a lake development partner in the energy sector of Bangladesh. The first energy sector assistance of $10.45 million was approved in 1973 to improve power situation in western Bangladesh. This was followed by a $12.2 million project approved in 1975 for improving gas distribution in Greater Dhaka region. ADB has so far provided around $7 billion in loans and grants for the energy sector in the country. The assistance supported 49 sovereign loans and grants, 2 private sector loans, 15 intermediary loans, and 40 technical assistance grants. These projects increased power generation capacity by 4,154 megawatt and transmission lines by 1,455 kilometers. The current sovereign portfolio has 9 projects, including 12 loans and 7 grants, worth over $3 billion. ADB operations in the energy sector generated over $6.78 billion of procurement contracts since Bangladesh became a member of ADB in 1973. About 18% of the country's installed power capacity has been supported by ADB. The energy sector support to Bangladesh focused on corporatization of power sector entities, investments in power generation, improving transmission and distribution, gas production, and regulatory framework. ADB has helped Bangladesh develop major gas fields including Titas, Hobbyganj, and Bakrabad gas transmission systems and most distribution networks. In the short term, ADB's energy sector operations are expected to create diverse opportunities of over $625 million for consultants and contractors. Under the Country Partnership Strategy for Bangladesh for 2021 to 2025, ADB will focus on green energy, cross-border green power trade, energy efficiency, power transmission and distribution, tariff rationalization, regulatory reform, and better coordination between power and energy sectors. Promotion of new technologies, privatization, technical quality of the supply, and commercial quality of the service will be emphasized. Other priorities include scaling up energy efficiency and renewable energy and supporting supply and demand side energy efficiency measures. Energy sector reform will be supported with a focus on grid stability, pricing, regulatory capacity and governance. To help Bangladesh manage climate change impacts, ADB will help the government meet its targets for nationally determined contributions through investments in the energy sector. ADB will also support private sector participation through increased non-sovereign operations and strengthening energy sector institutions to improve their planning capacity. ADB is a major development partner for the transport sector of Bangladesh. ADB assistance covered almost all areas of transport sector, including rail, road, port, railway, and urban transport, in addition to cross-border connectivity. ADB's transport sector strategy aims to improve connectivity and supports the provision of a safe, reliable, and fully integrated transport system that provides more efficient movement of people and goods. Assistance for developing road and railway infrastructure, promoted regional connectivity, and improved operational efficiency of Bangladesh Railway. Urban transport system is being improved to enhance people's mobility and integrate environmental and land use planning into transport development. Soon after Bangladesh had taken ADB membership, ADB quickly approved $6.8 million in assistance in 1973 to rehabilitate the Chattogram port, which was badly damaged during the country's liberation war. The support was further reinforced with a $23 million loan approved in 1974 to rehabilitate and reconstruct the Bangladesh rail system. At the end of 2021, the cumulative ADB assistance for Bangladesh transport sector amounts at around $8 billion. The current transport sector portfolio comprises 12 projects totaling around $3 billion. Bangladesh has a complex multimodal transport network. Road conditions are improving with high rural connectivity while inter-district connectivity constraints are being addressed. The railway faces significant challenges but also has specific opportunities for improvement. Inland waterways, seaports, and inland container depots have potentials for further improvement for increasing trade. The country has low private vehicle ownership, but it is rapidly growing due to the rise of a strong middle-class people. The road transport dominates land passenger and freight transport. ADB has been working with the government of Bangladesh to address these issues. Following significant progress, the partnership is deepening further. The ongoing project pipeline is aligned with the government's priorities set out in the 8th five-year plan of the government to promote regional connectivity, support the Trans-Asian highway and railway projects, and to address constraints of the Chattogram port. While Bangladesh is transforming for higher development, the transport sector faces significant challenges. Quality of detailed design, delays in procurement and project approval, land acquisition, and time and cost overruns of projects are critical issues being addressed. More than half of all roads and large sections of transport network are vulnerable to flooding and other natural disasters. The rail services and rail share of land passengers and freight transport need improvement. Urban transport is heavily reliant on road transport. Significant congestion and delays affect national highways and associated terminals, including landside access to seaports, land ports, and airports. The logistics performance, road safety, and vehicle emission standards also need improvement. ADB is working with the government for reforming the transport sector, including maintenance charges for road use and tariff increases for rail. Coordination of freight and passenger modes, facilitations of efficient multimodal logistics, and management of urban public transport and urban traffic congestions are critical issues to be addressed in a comprehensive manner.
Rapid urbanization creating challenges to meet demands for land, water, housing, and other basic urban services and amenities. Urbanization grew at an average rate of 3.17% per year between 2015 and 2018. Urban areas accommodate about 61 million or 37% of the total population. To help meet the challenges, ADB has been assisting Bangladesh to improve urban water supply, sewerage and sanitation, solid waste management, drainage, flood management, urban transport, roads, public transit and traffic management. ADB also supported the improvement of municipal infrastructure, climate and disaster resilience, and introduced the mechanism of improving urban governance linked to performance-based fund allocation for the municipalities. A $24.2 million Dhaka Urban Infrastructure Improvement Project was approved in 1989 to improve urban services in Dhaka and institutional capacity of relevant agencies. During 2011 and 2019, ADB contributed about 2.1 billion US dollars in financing to the water and other urban infrastructure and services through 14 projects representing 12.4% of the ADB country program. The current urban sector portfolio comprises 9 ongoing projects totaling about 1.5 billion US dollars, which is approximately 14% of ADB's country portfolio. The urban sector assistance improved local governance, project and financial management capacity, and local revenue generation of the city corporations in Dhaka and municipalities across the country. ADB promoted innovations by engaging the private sector and community-based non-government organizations in tariff collection. Community water user groups were promoted to enhance community buy-in and increased bill collections. In Dhaka, ADB helped establish district metering areas, promoted the use of design, build, operate contracts, and deployment of innovative trenchless technologies, which led to significant reductions in non-revenue water. In targeted towns, ADB assisted projects reduced flooding risks. In the urban sector, ADB will adopt an integrated approach for large, medium-sized, and small cities. ADB will provide increased support for climate-resilient, green and livable towns, especially to mainstream climate adaptation in projects. Sustainable urbanization, urban transition, mass rapid transit, sanitation, urban planning, and more resilient urban infrastructure and services will receive enhanced support. ADB will help strengthen policy, regulation, and urban governance, mainstream the use of digital and advanced technologies, and promote municipal resource mobilization and private sector participation. For the people sheltered in camps in Cox's Bazar, ADB will continue to assist Bangladesh with basic infrastructure and services. Assistance will be provided in sustainable water, sanitation, health, power, transport, disaster management, and other infrastructure benefiting both the host community and the sheltered people.
Bangladesh is focusing on improving education quality and public health after achieving remarkable progress in access to education and other health indicators. Good progress in health and education has helped increase productivity and competitiveness of the young labor force in Bangladesh. ADB has been a prominent partner of the country in improving education as well as urban health. The first assistance for a $6 million educational equipment development project was approved in 1978. In 1980, a public health program of $15.6 million was approved. ADB's commitment for health and education has since increased and widened to primary and secondary education, skills development, urban primary health, and coronavirus disease pandemic management. In primary education, ADB coordinated a group of development partners in supporting a sector-wide program that transformed all aspects of primary education. During the last decade, around $3 billion were provided to improve health and education in the country. The current portfolio in the sector has $1.6 billion in active loans and grants. While remarkable progress has been made in primary education and other education subsectors, education quality needs significant improvement to meet country's development needs. ADB assistance helped improve education access, quality, and learning outcomes. Infrastructure, teaching quality, management decentralization, curriculum reform, student assessment, stipend, teacher recruitment, and introduction of ICTs in teaching and learning were supported, in addition to many other areas. ADB is also assisting the government in improving skills through partnerships
with industry associations, focusing on disadvantaged groups and women. Support for Bangladesh's health sector mainly focused on maternal and child health care of the urban poor and related policy and institutional reforms. The urban healthcare services were delivered through a PPP delivery model. As the country transitions to higher development path, ADB is expanding its support to higher education. The focus will be on quality, equitable access to higher education, and better employability. ADB will support improvement of selected higher education programs in strategic growth areas. ADB's engagement will be closely linked to learning outcomes, gender equality, system efficiency, decentralized management, and investment sustainability. Education for disadvantaged people will be promoted. Digital and new technologies will be integrated to improve access and impart quality lessons. Support for skills development will be enhanced. Under the health sector, ADB will prioritize support to the government's coronavirus disease recovery efforts through procurement of vaccines, equipment, and health infrastructure. The provision of good quality health and hygiene services, including urban primary health care services, tertiary health care services, and universal health coverage will be supported. ADB will also continue to support the development of primary health care services at the community level with the active participation of private sector partners and non-government organizations. ADB will enhance its support for skills development and contribute to developing market-responsive and mid-management advanced skills.
ADB is a key partner of Bangladesh in the agriculture and natural resources sector. Soon after Bangladesh became a member of ADB in 1973, ADB quickly approved $3.2 million for a fisheries development project. A number of other projects were approved in the following years to boost agricultural credit, jute cultivation, fertilizer production, and integrated rural development. Bangladesh has made remarkable progress in the agriculture and natural resources sector in recent decades. From a perennial food deficit country, Bangladesh has transformed to be a rice-sufficient nation. During 2009 to 2018 alone, rice production increased by around 37%, maize production by 646%, potato production by 148%, pulses production by 275%, and vegetable production by 645%. Bangladesh currently enjoys third position in vegetable production, fourth position in rice production, and seventh position in mango production in the world. During 2011 and 2020, ADB provided around $1 billion to the agriculture and natural resources sector. The current portfolio has around $600 million in active loans and grants. Main areas of operations included flood control, drainage and irrigation improvement, riverbank protection, agricultural development, rural development, and participatory irrigation management. The assistance focused on enhancing access to markets and improving water infrastructure. Upgraded rural roads and markets made it easier for people living in the rural areas to have access to markets, services, and inputs. Strengthened water resources infrastructure protected productive areas through flood embankments and the enhanced management of small and medium-sized water management schemes. The assistance also fostered better productivity through credit support to landless people, smallholders, and small-scale agribusiness entrepreneurs. The ADB-assisted projects specifically include climate change adoption in their designs. Some projects were designed to reduce or prevent climate change impacts and damage from floods. ADB assistance to the sector in the last decade supported the government plan to achieve self-sufficiency in rice production, diversify agricultural crops, form production and marketing cooperatives, and encourage research and development for increasing productivity. In the medium term, ADB will accelerate rural transformation to improve rural livelihoods, integrate climate risk-informed land use planning, develop climate-resilient infrastructure, commercialize agriculture, and improve its productivity and competitiveness. Modernization of agriculture for increased productivity and development of value chains and logistics will be strengthened to directly link farmers and small agri-entrepreneurs with consumers and curtail the influence of middlemen. Research and development in agricultural products will be promoted to increase food security and export potential. ADB will also explore innovative programs with participatory urban planning approaches to bring urban amenities to rural dwellers for creating employment, strengthening rural ecology, and rejuvenating local economies. ADB has been supporting the finance and public management sectors of Bangladesh since the 1990s. The main areas of finance sector support include capital market development, cottage, micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, and infrastructure finance. Regulatory and institutional frameworks for capital market and public-private partnership and financing for renewable energy and environment-friendly brick kilns were also supported. The public management sector operations focused on improving transparency, judicial independence, public accountability, financial management, civil service reform, right to information, digitalization of services, and anti-corruption. During the last decade, ADB provided over $2.5 billion in loans and grants for the finance and public management sectors, while the current portfolio has $2 billion supporting various projects. ADB support has helped to bolster capital markets, providing long-term financing for infrastructure, develop a PPP culture, and support women entrepreneurs while helping commercial banks to be more responsive to microfinance. ADB promoted public-private partnership in financing infrastructure. Small and medium-sized enterprises were supported with credit, policy, and capacity-building initiatives while fostering women entrepreneurship. In the medium term, ADB is supporting post-pandemic economic recovery through budget support and program loans to promote job creation, domestic resource mobilization, social protection, and banking sector reform. To promote longer-term investment needed to sustain growth, ADB will be working to further improve capital markets and the banking system. Economic diversification, private sector development, sector governance, policy and regulatory reforms, access to finance, and financial literacy will be supported. Adopting the One ADB approach, ADB will catalyze non-sovereign financing through the private sector, PPPs, and state-owned enterprise financing opportunities. Further support will be provided for stock and bond market development. Stronger emphasis will be given to mobile financing solutions, technology enablement, and startup support. ADB will continue to support public finance institutions such as the Infrastructure Development Company Limited and Bangladesh Infrastructure Finance Fund Limited to diversify their funding sources, including market-based sources, blended finance, or bond issuances. Private sector projects with sound fundamentals and strong development impact will continue to receive financial assistance. Innovative financial products and instruments, including local currency funding sources, will be explored to diversify financing solutions and mitigate financial risks. ADB will continue to provide guarantees and loans to the local financial institutions through its microfinance, trade, and supply chain finance programs. A multi-pronged strategy for PPPs will also be developed to build capacity and awareness, support policy and institutional development, project preparation and development, and project financing to make the PPP process more efficient and pursue financing of PPP transactions. Further digitalization of services, reforms in public financial management and state-owned enterprises, and capacity building will be continued to help Bangladesh transform into a middle-income country.
Thank you very much. So I think this is the end of our virtual tour. And now we have, I think we hope that you have enjoyed the video. And now we will start our opening session. And the opening session, in the opening session, I will request our Country Director, Bangladesh Resident Mission, Mr. Edimon Ginting, to give his welcome remarks. Over to CD.
Thank you very much, Tika. You can hear me well, right?
Yes, very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I wish to welcome you to the 2021 Bangladesh Business Opportunity Seminar for consulting firm and contractors. We're so pleased to see so many of you are here today. Let me start my remark with a few statistics on our operations in Bangladesh. As you have seen in the video, I think Bangladesh joined ADB in 1973. And since then, ADB has committed loans, grants, and technical assistance worth 28.6 billion for the country. Bangladesh is a major recipient of ADB's concessional resources. Cumulative loan and grant disbursement to Bangladesh so far amounted to 17.1 billion. For contractors and suppliers from Bangladesh, about 25 contracts worth of 11 billion have been awarded. For consultants from Bangladesh, so far, close to 2,000 contracts worth of 310 million have been awarded. If you are interested in doing business with ADB, today's seminar will offer you the opportunity to learn about how to partner with ADB and to win contracts from us. The immediate focus, of course, is to discuss ongoing and upcoming business opportunities in different sectors and regions of interventions, as you have seen in some of the videos. Here, I would also like to give you 3 key reasons why it is good to do business with ADB. First is because we work with the government and the stakeholders to improve people's life in Bangladesh and in this dynamic Asia and Pacific regions. Second, for our growing portfolio of interesting projects to succeed, we need goods, works, services from good contractors and consultants like you. And third, we are making changes that will make it easier for us to work together. Let me also highlight several features of ADB's current operations. The first and the most significant feature, ADB is continuing to significantly expand its operations. These continued operations is made possible following the mergers of the Asians Development Fund and with ADB's ordinary capital resources, we call it, which took place on January 2017. This merger significantly increased ADB's ability to leverage its existing fund into more loans and grants for our development member countries, including Bangladesh. This growing pipeline is creating more business opportunities for partners like you. And during this seminar today, you will hear much more about these opportunities. The second point I wish to highlight is that ADB is making improvement in the way we do business. We want to be better and faster in what we do. We are implementing a new procurement framework that takes a principle-based approach and is less prescriptive. The framework includes new principle of quality and value for money. At the same time, we are putting more procurement specialists into our resident missions. Together, these steps aim to speed up procurement time and allow us to better serve the unique need and circumstances of our development member countries. This will also facilitate the procurement of advanced technologies needed more and more by our development countries now. Third, ADB is expanding its role as a knowledge provider and policy advisor to our developing member countries. Our clients are not only looking for loans anymore, they also want to have best knowledge available, including innovative solutions. ADB consultant, contractor, and other partners play a critical role in helping ADB to harness the latest technology solutions and embed them into our operations. Finally, more than ever, we would customize our approach to suit the very different needs of our developing member countries. These include fragile and conflict-affected situations, small island states, low income and lower middle income countries, as well as upper middle income countries. In conclusions, ladies and gentlemen, when ADB was established, the Asia Pacific region was the poorest in the world. Today, the region has become a central pillar of the global economy. ADB has been a key partner in the region's transformations. Throughout our history, ADB and our development member countries have relied on partners like you to deliver projects and achieve results for those who need them the most. We look forward to working with you to strengthen our partnership with the region, and I hope this seminar can explore new ways of doing so. I wish you all a very fruitful discussions in today's seminar. Thank you very much. Over to you, Tika. Thank you.
Thank you, CD. Thank you very much for your very much inspiring and very comprehensive remarks. Now, as per our original agenda, we unfortunately our secretary ERD would be unavailable. She regretted because of unavoidable cabinet meeting in the morning. So we do have, of course, our ADB Wing Chief, Additional Secretary, Dr. Pierre Mohammed, to give the opening remarks on behalf of Government of Bangladesh also, and also from the ERD. Over to Dr. Pierre.
Thank you, Mr. Tikalimbu. Respected Country Director, Mr. Edmund Ginting, senior officials from ministries, divisions, and agencies, officials of project management units, officials of ADB, representatives from contractors, consultants, and distinguished, and my colleagues of ERD. A very good morning to you all. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to ADB for organizing such an event on business opportunities in Bangladesh. This is a very timely initiative, and ADB deserves special thanks for the webinar. It provides with an opportunity to bring all the relevant stakeholders engaged in implementation of development projects in Bangladesh. It also gives an insight on the update of ADB procurement policies, processes, contract management and contract execution and financial management. The relevant stakeholders can have a good understanding about the opportunities of business and also the procurement processes and contract management. ADB is a trusted development partner on whom we can rely on in time of need. The government of Bangladesh gratefully acknowledged the support of Asian Development Bank during the COVID-19 pandemic, as they have taken part in the development of the country for over 4 decades. The present government prioritized the construction projects, especially in transportation and building infrastructure sector. Hundreds of projects, from large-scale mega projects to small-scale local projects, are being implemented throughout the country. ADB is actively participating not only in financing the projects, but also in assisting the government to ensure quality, efficiency, and effectiveness. ADB also provides support in building institutions, promoting knowledge products, supporting infrastructure projects for regional connectivity and integration. Moreover, budget support and policy-based loan have become instrumental in achieving economic and social resilience. In recent times, ADB has adjusted its program priorities to help Bangladesh overcome the COVID-19 pandemic and challenges related to health and social protection, food security, skill development, rural development, water and sanitation, to name a few. These timely initiatives have contributed towards mitigating the adverse economic effects of the pandemic and maintain substantial growth rate. Distinguished participants, it is my great honor and joy to inform that United Nations General Assembly has adopted the resolution of ECOSOC's recommendation in favor of Bangladesh graduation from LDC category. This is an achievement which we have attained under the strong and prudent leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. This good news coincides with the celebration of 50 years of independence, as well as the birth centennial of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Dear colleagues, at this stage, let me draw your attention to the objective of the webinar. This business opportunity webinar arranged by ADB is a platform to bring together stakeholders who are actively taking part in the development of Bangladesh. Bangladesh projects, development projects are complex endeavors which intricately involve policymakers, regulators, financing partners, implementing agencies, contractors, and consultants. For a project to be completed successfully, proper synchronization among all parties is of utmost importance. Implementing agencies, contractors, and consultants realize the vision of the leaders and policymakers by working at the field level. This job is delicate, complicated, and often full of challenges. Project officials often have to work under strict deadlines and face difficult situations. In a developing country like ours, where they are in constant of resources, natural disasters are frequent, and shortage of skilled manpower is severe. These challenges become even more demanding. However, notwithstanding these impediments, project officials, contractors, consultants, among with many other involved, are successfully implementing the projects. You, as part of the industry, are integral part of the government machinery that is maintaining this phenomenal development of the country. In the international arena, this is now regarded as an exceptional model worthy of replication. Respected audience, as one of the major development partners of Bangladesh, ADB is involved in wide range of infrastructure projects. Recently, Government of Bangladesh signed an agreement to finance the Dhaka-Sylhet Highway, which is the largest single contract so far. Due to complexity of such large projects, it is imperative for you to get familiar with the policies and practices of ADB to expedite the implementation and avoid delays. I am sure that this webinar will serve as a good opportunity to have a clear understanding of the policies as well as future opportunities. I hope our distinguished participants will exchange their views, share their knowledge and experiences that will benefit both sides. They can also provide their comments and observations to enrich the webinar. I would like to request you to proactively exchange in today's webinar to achieve better outcomes and make this initiative a success. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Pierre. It was really very, very comprehensive. You talked about the quality, the efficiency, the effectiveness, also synchronizing the contractors, consultants, and the government. These are very critical. Of course, we have taken note of these, and this is what exactly the business opportunity seminar is for. And also, we hope that definitely will be very proactive in this half-a-day seminar to exchange the ideas and view and how we can improve going forward. We really thank you for your opening remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, as I have mentioned, unfortunately, I mean, we also have a regret from our Honorable Minister of Finance to give his key speech because, as I mentioned, it was unavoidable. The government has a more important meeting at the cabinet, so we apologize for this, and we hope that we can have next time a better one. But this time we will have to close this opening session with opening remarks from our ADB Wing Chief Dr. Pia, and also from our welcome speech from our country director. And now I request Gerard or Apple that you want to have a photo session of the opening session. Would you like to take photo or?
Yes, we can have the photo session.
Yeah, Dr. Pierre and CD. I think you have to appear in the video so that we can take
Yes.
a photo. Thank you very much.
I'm here. Thank you, teacher. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Pierre. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. If everyone could please turn their videos on. All right. Okay, that looks great.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, would you like to join us?
That's all done, Gerard, or you have some more?
All right. And in 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Okay, let's do one more.
Oh.
And everyone, smile, please. And 3, 2, 1.
I think Dr. Pierre thought it was already done. Why don't you do one more time?
One more.
Okay.
Dr. Pierre is here. Yeah.
One last more for posterity. And 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gerard.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, CD. Thank you, Dr. Pierre. And now we have completed the opening session. Now we will start our technical session. And in the technical first session that we will be making presentation on the business opportunities ongoing and also the pipeline. And first presentation would be from my own side, my own presentation, where I will be making presentation on ADB's ongoing portfolio in Bangladesh. and also the ongoing business opportunities that at hand, and followed by our colleague in the second session. So let me make my presentation on ADB's ongoing portfolio. Here the screen, this list of other screen. Okay, so yeah, okay, I'll have to share my screen. How do I do my screen? I think somebody has to stop the sharing. Is that, or how do I do? Yeah. So can someone advise if you could see the presentation that I have shared?
Yes, TKC, we can see that.
Great, thank you very much. So very good morning again. This is T. Kalimbu. I will be making presentation on ADB's ongoing portfolio in Bangladesh, and how we are performing, how we are growing, and what are our key sectors, and what are the opportunities that are ongoing or at hand for the contractors and consultants. So this is okay. So let me first introduce ourselves. Who are we? ADB is established in 1966 and headquartered in Manila. We have 68 member countries, including Bangladesh, and 49 of them are in Asia Pacific. And out of 68, 40 members are borrowing members, and ADB has excuse me, more than 3,000 employees from over 60 nationalities. And ADB has, as per our strategy 2030, ADB has 6 priority area, which is first is that poverty and reducing the poverty and inequalities, gender equality, tackling climate change, and making cities more livable, food security, governance and institutional capacity, and fostering regional cooperation. So these are the 6 key areas of priorities, and we also have other priorities excuse me, which are basically catalyzing the financial resources, private sector operation, and knowledge services. So so these are the key areas of our intervention. And for ADB, if we look at for last 5 years, 2021, we still haven't got the final figure. So it has grown up to 102 billion a portfolio, and in 2016 we had only 71, so it's almost 44% increment in over 5 years. And sector wise, if we look at sector wise, ADB's largest sector is transport, which is almost 26% of our total portfolio, and followed by energy, which is around 22%, and water supply, urban infrastructure is third, around 11 to 12%, and the rest followed by public sector management, finance, agriculture, natural resource, education, and health. Yeah. So now Bangladesh. So Bangladesh, as I said already, we had started our operation in 1973, which is I mean almost 48 years from now, and Bangladesh resident mission was the first resident missions to be established outside Manila, which is very much coincidental, as well as we are very proud of having ourselves as the first resident mission in Dhaka. And so far we have reached almost 27 billion portfolio and 328 loans, and we also have almost 300 million technical assistance, comprising 507 technical assistance, and we also have 54 grants worth of almost 1 billion. And this slide shows the distribution of the portfolio, and cumulative lending, as I said, we have already 27 billion, and out of the 6 sectors that we have mentioned in the beginning, transport is by far is the largest. Energy is by far is the largest, almost 6 billion, and followed by transport, which is also very much similar, 5.95, and health and education, which is recently has grown and very much almost crossed 3 billion as of now, and followed by agriculture, natural resource with 2.6 billion, and the rest are water supply and urban, finance and public sector management, etc., etc. So this is the distribution of the sector, and total portfolio, which is the active portfolio. As of now, our active portfolio stands at 12.5 billion US dollar. And if we look at for last 10 years, from 2011 to 2021, we have almost increased by 155%, which is really huge. 4.9 billion to 12.5 billion in last 10 years, which is I would say is like leapfrogging, 155% increment in the portfolio in 10 years, which is really as a big achievement, and that shows that how much we are focused in Bangladesh and how much we are working, or how much I mean, like effective is our partnership with government of Bangladesh. And so for the active portfolio distribution, we have now recently, this is the recent one of 10 December, transport sector has surpassed for the active portfolio, not the cumulative. Cumulative is still energy is the first one, but current active portfolio wise, transport has become the number one because of the approval of the large projects recently. Almost 3.3 billion is the total ongoing loan and grant in transport, and energy is 3.09. Second, almost 24% of our total portfolio, and education and health because of APVAX and our intervention in health sector. This sector has become the third largest, almost 2.7 billion and 22% of our total portfolio. And as I said, urban and water always has been there, which is almost 11 to 12%, amounting to 1.5 billion US dollar, and public finance 1.37, which is 11% of our ongoing portfolio, and agriculture natural resource is around 750 million US dollar, which is 6% of our total active portfolio. And for the business opportunities in 2021-22, we had a different sector, and basically I will present what are the business opportunities that are ongoing out of 21 and 22, meaning that the projects that are approved in 2021 and are approving in 2022, what are the different business opportunities are in the market and ongoing, which are still open, which are still to be floated. So I'll go sector by sector, and basically we have four different sectors where our procurement of contractors and consultants are ongoing, and education and health has a different modality, and so is the finance, being a financial intermediary, loans mostly from the private sector and SMEs. So let me go to the sector. This is agriculture, natural resource sector, where we have a different, I think I don't have to read all through this because this will be too much, but we have several projects which are ongoing in procurement. And basically the fraud and riverbank erosion project, which is recently coming to the market with several procurement packages, as many as 15 packages. And we also have rural connectivity improvement project, which is still, which procurement is still ongoing. There are 3 packages under that project, and there are a lot of the project procurement already had happened. And energy sector, if we go to energy sector, which is also the big, large packages and the bigger size, contract size, and they are mostly EPC contract, meaning that engineering, procurement, and construction commissioning. And we have almost around, if I add up these, it will become almost 270 million US dollar. These are at different stages, like bidding documents are being prepared, and most of them, and they can be anytime in the market this year in 2022. And this is also energy sector ongoing. The bidding documents are still in the development process, and we are hoping that they will be available in market anytime in 2022. And transport sector, as I said, has become the largest sector, and there are various procurement packages ongoing in in particular Dhaka Sylhet, which is a mega projects, and the size of the contracts are also very big. If we look at one of the package WP03, where it has 2 lots, it's 290 million US dollar, and the IFB has just published on 7th December, so it's still ongoing. Our contractors still can try, and there is an opportunity. It is closing on 27th January 2022. Same Dhaka Sylhet, another lot, another package of 2 lots, 189 million, which is also floated on 7th December, and will be closing on 24th January. So you could look at if you are interested. These are very bigger, of course, big, but very significant and flagship contracts. And again, in transport, Dhaka Sylhet also will have more packages 04, whose bidding documents are in the process of preparation, and 287, it will be of 287 million value. Package 5, 2 lots, 347 million, also in the bid document preparation stage. Another package 6B, also 94 million, also bid documents are being prepared, so they could be in the market anytime in 2022. We also have other projects in transport sector. Integrated trade facilitation, which is a big project, is also in the process of signing, which will have different size, but not that big. One package civil work is 8.85 million, whose bidding document is being prepared. Intertrade facilitation sector development program also, which is under BLPA. The earlier one was under NBR. So BLPA civil work will be of 21 million. Bid documents are in the process of preparation. Another under NBR, which is 13.5 million worth, also bid documents are under preparation. And emergency assistance project additional financing, which is under the roads and highway, that also has 25 million equivalent. Also bid document almost ready. It could be floated anytime in early 2022. So that's all about the transport. And we also have urban and water sector. In urban and water sector, we have Khulna Wasa, a small contract package, but still this is also in the process. And we have a LGED component of second city region, CRDP2. There are 7 packages of 18.6 million, which are also will be floated through the EGP system. So these are urban sector projects, are mostly national competitive bidding through the EGP. And the integrated trade facilitation also, these are all this is consultancy. So this has got under the consultancy package, we have a trade facilitation 4 million QCBS, which expression of interest would be published anytime soon. We also have another package of 2 million under the same project, trade facilitation, with EOI to be published very soon. Similarly, Dhaka Sylhet also has a consultancy package of 2.5 million, which is going to be, which is in the market, is still open and going to be closed on 26th December, which is only 3 or 4 days left. So anyone interested can try all this also for the consultancy. And so these are the ongoing that is already alive, but for the opportunities in next 2 years, we have almost 7.8 billion of resource envelope, and we are hoping that in 2022 there are several projects which are very much high in readiness, and almost 30% of them would be ready to be floated in the market. So they are like these are a couple of projects that are that will be approved in 2022. Climate and disaster resilient small scale water resource management project, and also climate resilient livelihood improvement and watershed management in Chittagong Hill Tract, Southwest Area Integrated Water Resources. So these projects are to be approved in 2022, and many of them were in the market, will be in the market for procurement. And in the other one, for the energy, for the skills education, we have also advanced skill employment project and social resilience projects. They are also are expected to be approved in 2022. And in the energy, so these are the couple of projects that are pipeline for 2022, but these are only very brief. And we hope that at least 30% of the total value would be floated in market in 2022. And other is trade facilitation and port, and also Greater Dhaka Sustainable Urban Transport additional financing. These projects are also in the pipeline in 2022, but Greater Dhaka, it may not have procurement, but other first two, they will be, if approved, will be floated, at least 30% of them. And in the urban, we have coastal town and the secondary town water supply, each of 250 and 150, and 30% of them are expected to be floated in the market. And we also have emergency assistance additional financing. There we'll have water supply sanitation projects, which is of 71.4. So, but it may not be whole 71.4, but we're expecting that at least 30% of 71% would be floated under the water supply, sanitation, and health and hygiene component. So these are the brief overview of pipeline, but the details of the pipeline opportunities would be presented by my colleague Sun Chan Hong, senior country specialist. And that's all from my side. If any question answer, then after the second session, we will be very happy to answer any queries. Please raise your hand, or please drop your question or queries in the chat box, or we can have this detailed discussion in the question answer session after the session 2. Thank you very much. And that's all from my side. And now I will request my colleague, Mr. Sun Chan Hong, Senior Country Specialist, Bangladesh Resident Mission, to provide his presentation on the business opportunities of from the upcoming pipeline projects. Over to you, Sun Chan. Thank you. So I will stop my sharing.
Thank you, Tika. Let me see.
Okay, so I will have to stop, no? Did I stop? Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope people can see my screen. Yeah, thank you, Tika. This is Sun Chan, introduced by Tika. So let me continue Tika's presentation. I will mainly focus on IDB's upcoming pipeline and then also the related opportunities from those pipeline projects. So let me start first with IDB's commitment, historical commitment. So this shows how much new commitment actually took place in each year. In 2016, a little less than 700. We have actually increased the commitment close to 2 billion. In 2018, over 2 billion, and then in 2021, again we are close to 2 billion. So you can see the IDB's commitment has increased significantly over the last 5 years, which actually is giving a lot of opportunity for our partners in the country, also overseas. So I think Tika already showed ADB's the 7 operational priorities under the strategy 2030, And the Bangladesh operations will be guided by our new country partnership strategy, which has been endorsed this year in September. So we will focus on 3 areas, which is the boosting competitiveness, employment, and private sector development, and promote green growth and climate resilience, and strengthen human capital and social protection. So ADB's the overall operation will be guided by these 3 strategic objectives, with the priority areas in the infrastructure, business environment, access to finance, and climate change resilience, rural transformation, public sector management, and then quality education, health, and social protections. So these will be actually the key areas that ADB will try to collaborate with the government of Bangladesh in supporting the country's development. So let me look into our pipeline during 2024 and then to 2022 to 2024. So this pipeline I will present in 6 sectors that ADB is operating. But please note that the projects as well as the amount are still indicative. Of course, the projects next year is a little bit more firm, but the other projects in the later years are still indicative and subject to change, both timing as well as the amount. So please bear that in mind while looking into our pipeline. And the pipeline also include firm project as well as the standby project. But those firm and standby, we don't actually put that much difference. But ADB's basic principle is that as soon as the project is ready actually to be implemented, ADB will push it through, of course, subject to its contribution to the development. So this shows the overall the planned pipeline. So including 2021. So next this year and the next 3 years, we have about 10 billion committed and planned pipeline. Out of 10 billion, about 20% has been already committed in this year, and some of them actually are remaining to be committed from 2021 project, and remaining 77% are coming in next 3 years. And in the country partnership strategy, we put about 10 to 12 billion pipeline project. Not project, actually, the envelope under the CPS. So that is the amount that ADB will push through in the coming 5 years. The first, let me show some the pipeline projects in energy sector. The energy sector will focus on transmission and distribution, renewable energy, rural electrification, regional power grid trade, and energy efficiency. As I mentioned, these tables, tables are showing the 3-year pipeline, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And then it includes both the firm and then standby project. In 2022, as Tika already shortly shown, there are projects in the transmission and distribution project and renewable energy projects, and then some of the energy efficiency improvement project. So in 2022, excluding a standby project, only farm project, we have about 520 million pipeline. And 2023, again, in the similar area, we have 450 million pipeline project in energy sector. In 2024, we have one rural electrification program with 3 standby projects. So the farm project amount to 200 million. And in total, in 3 years, energy pipeline has $1.17 billion. Following the transport sector will focus on transport capacity expansion in railways, road, and port, and then regional connectivity like the corridor development, and then capacity expansion and rehabilitation, as well as the urban transport. In 2022, we will have a SASEC integrated trade facilitation project, as well as the SASEC Chattogram port access road improvement as a farm project, and together with the Great Dhaka Sustainable Urban Transport Project additional financing, which will support the development of the BRT. So we have 350 million farm project in 2022. In 2023, we have a railway project as well as the road project. So those two are the firm project, while we have several standby project. So in 2023, we have 800 million firm pipeline. And in 2024, we have also 4 projects in the transport sector. The Dhaka Mass Rapid Transit Development Project, which will develop the southern route of the Line 5, will come in 2024, and together with the other projects. So in next 3 years in transport sector, we'll have a little bit more than $2 billion pipeline. In water and urban infrastructure and services sector, we have supporting the municipal services, right, including water and sanitation, and we will also support improving the urban governance and also promoting climate resilient infrastructure development. In 2022, we have 400 million firm pipeline supporting the coastal towns as well as the secondary towns, water supply and sanitation, and then the other infrastructure development. In 2023, we have a little bit more than $700 million firm pipeline. One is the integrated urban development project, which is actually the following the successful UG project. So 300 million is allocated for this project, and some of the other urban and water the support in the secondary towns as well as Dhaka. In 2024, we have the Khulna water supply project phase 2 with the 90 million, and then together with one other project, the coastal town water supply project. So over next year, water and urban sector, we will have a bit less than $1.4 billion from projects. In education and health sector, we will support higher education, skills development, healthcare, as well as social protection. In 2022, we have 2 actually project, which is amount of $550 million. So the advanced skills for boosting employment project, as well as a strengthening social resilience program, which is the budget support for the government. In 2023, we have one farm project which is supporting the healthcare, the improvement in Bangladesh with a $500 million. And in 2024, we have one farm project supporting for the social resilience program, together with quite a few standby projects, which may be materialized in 2024 or even before 2024. So during next 3 years, education and health sector will have about $1.35 billion from project. In agriculture, natural resources, and rural development sector, we try to cover water resource management, rural road development, flood and then riverbank strengthening and protection, irrigation management, as well as agricultural commercialization and value chain development. In 2022, we have 3 projects with a $271 million supporting the climate and disaster risk resilience, water supply and water resource management, as well as watershed management and the project in the country. In 2023, we plan to have a crop commercialization and productivity improvement project, and then rural connectivity improvement project. So we have 250 million for 2023, and then 2024 we allocated 500 million with the irrigation improvement project and the flood and riverbank management projects. So in next 3 years, we have a little bit more than $1 billion pipeline from agriculture, natural resource, and then rural development projects. Last but not least, we have a finance and public sector management, which focuses on the public-private partnership, SME development, public financial management, and then also banking sector strengthening. In 2022, we have a 300 million farm pipeline, which under the 2 projects, which is the SME development facility, as well as the banking sector program, the strengthening program. In 2023, we have a sustainable economic recovery program, which is also budget support for the government, 250 million. In 2024, we have quite a few farm and then standby project with a 250 million for the farm project. So in total, in finance sector, we will have about $800 million pipeline for ADB support. So let me stop here and over to you, Tika.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Sunchan. I don't know how am I loud enough because I had a feedback that I wasn't loud enough. How is the?
Sounds good. I'm better. Yeah.
Okay.
Louder.
Better. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I hope that our presentation were useful, and now we have 15 minutes of question answer session. So we request if any one of our participants would like to have some questions, then please raise your hand. So the moment we see the hand raised, our administrator will allow you to use the microphone as well as the video. And if you don't like to speak, then you can also drop your question or inquiries in the chat box. Now we have 15 minutes for this question answer. Thank you. So we just wait for if there's any question answer.
There are two participants who raised the hands, Tika.
Okay, so would Gerard or Apple provide the access to the question, the inquirer?
Yes, they have already.
Okay,
Mr. Gyasuddin, Deputy Team Leader.
Could not hear, Mr. Deputy Team Leader. Hello? Some problem in connectivity?
Okay, again. Okay, now it is okay?
Yeah, very well. Thank you.
So I have seen that you have made your financing to develop the transport sector in Bangladesh as a network. So we have SASEC 1, SASEC 2, then from Rangpur to Burimari and Rangpur to Banglaband. Now we are getting Dhaka Silet. But very important thing that you are giving the finance on starting 2024 for Dauloddia, Faridpur, Barishal. You know that our Padma Bridge is opening in the middle of next year. So there will be rush of the traffic from Bhanga towards Barishal, and there will be severe accident and the road will be destroyed. If you can finance in just within short time, otherwise there will be a massive accident, and due to the overloaded and heavy traffic from Bhanga towards Barishal will be a massive destroy. This is my question. Thank you, Mr. Tika Limbu.
Okay, I think our colleague Sunsan is, I think, making notes because he's the programming head, and of course our country director, deputy country director are also listening. So we definitely noted it, and so we can have this discussion offline after this, and Mr. Sunsan will definitely had hopefully noted it. Sunsan, I think you have noted it.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much for the suggestion, and we fully take note of this.
I don't know, presenter. You know that the Padma Bridge, then the Paira port is going to be operation very soon, and then Kuakata, our Parjatan, sorry, that is the tourism area is also developed so much. Thank you. Please keep a note. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I mean ADB's pipeline, as I mentioned, is the indicative one, and then subject
24.
to. Yeah, I mean, subject to the project, the subject for the project readiness, ADB is happy to advance. And so we will bring that discussion point with the government and then consider the advancing the project. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Of course, Kuakata, yeah, I know that Kuakata, we have a CTIP second also coming up, and there must be some program for the tourism sector, which was in the discussion in the beginning, in the inception time. But again, we can discuss this also. We have also noted it down. Thank you for that. And I have seen here our in the chat box, there are how many? plan to investment in agriculture project like export to agri product. Yeah, so this one is it a question? So I think if you would like to question, could you please raise your hand, because I have seen here from BIFFL, of course, we do have, and also Mr. Fardus, SM Fardus, sustainable industry in machine-made bricks. Okay, so would you like me to respond this? Okay, I can respond one by one. Oh, raise hand. Okay, 2 participants. Yeah, okay. So there are, I think, would you like to give the access to the hand raise so that I can answer? Then I can go with the chat box that I will explain one by one.
Yes, they have access.
Yeah. Yes, please. The hand raise, I cannot see the hand raise. So
I have raised my hand, Mr. Tika.
okay, okay. Oh,
yeah, can I speak?
Yeah, you have raised your hand. Okay, thank you. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You have shown in your presentation that additional financing for 2022 is for emergency assistance project is 70 or 72 million around. But you have mentioned that this is for health, sanitation, water supply this year. I like to ask you, is the emergency assistance project LGD part, that is additional financing in upcoming 2022 is included?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Mala. Yeah, you have raised your good question. Definitely, the scopes include the continuation of our effort that we did in the phase 1. So LGED will continue doing some of the disaster risk management components, which we will be sharing with you very soon. Within a week time, we have almost done homework. So there are continuity of the cyclone shelter and other and small access roads, in not internal but access roads, and some other community centers, etc. So we will come back. So that it's not only the DPHC but LGED as well. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. Okay. So are there any other hand raised? So thank you, Mr. Malay. Yeah, thank you for your question, and I have hopefully answered. The exact figure we can share very soon.
Hello, this is Muni. I have raised my hand from Maxwell Stamp Limited. May I ask my questions?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So good morning to everyone, and thank you to ADB to present such a nice presentation to us. I have just one little question. As you know, that road safety is now a major concern in our country. As you know, if you see the statistics, even the last month, many lives have been gone due to the improper planning in road safety. So my question is, you have said in your country management plan and upcoming pipelines that you are planning to implement lots of highway projects, including road projects in Bangladesh. So my question is that have you have any plan to implement or to execute any exclusive program for the road safety management that will help us to understand and to implement the international standards road safety in Bangladesh, and which is actually very likely followed in the country? So this is my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Said Nuruddin. Yeah, this is a very pertinent question. And wherever we do roads, highways, or motorways, the road safety components are there. We do not, negate, or we do not discount the road safety component. So road safety components are an integral part of all the projects, whether you talk about Dhaka Salate or SASEC 1 or SASEC 2 or anything where we are having a project, we have the road safety components embedded. But to answer to your question, in 2023, we have a pipeline of a road safety component very much dedicated. It's worth 100 million project. addressing to the road safety, national road safety alone. So, so it's the 2023. Sun-chan, can you confirm that if it is still in the form?
Yes, definitely it is formed, but in 2024. But of
Okay.
course, as I mentioned again, this is subject to the discussion and then the readiness of the program. So you are very correct. The road safety is always one of the critical components in all ADB's project, in a transport project. But ADB has actually planned the dedicated program for the road safety in 2024. Thank you, Tika.
Yeah, and it can be brought into 2023 as well, depending on the of course, it has to be discussed with the government, but this is very, very important. And we will have a discussion, because as we heard from Gyasuddin that once the Padma Bridge is open, there are certain things that needs to be fixed. So these are, evolving and development process. So depending on the need, this could be also brought forward. Okay, so any other raised hand before I go to the chat box? There are Apple. Is there anyone also in the hand? Because I cannot see raised hand here.
Yes, there are still 2.
Okay, please.
We give them access already.
Yes, please. Thank you. You can call the name also, so that they would know.
Mr. Afsab Jose, you can ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. My first question was, do you have any implementation statistics compared to the planned project regarding ADB projects on finance and public sector management, like how you planned and how it went, basically, in the last years? My second question is, we need to get an update on the project BAN 54095, project name is Scaling Up Energy Efficiency. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. First is on the finance and public sector management, PSM. So you wanted 2 years of statistics, or you wanted for the longer period, Mr. Afzal?
5 years maximum.
Yeah, we do have, because there are, whatever our plan, of course, are delivered, but the timing, sometimes it might be, plus minus, because of several factors, externalities. The implementation period may have been extended. Let's say we planned for 3 years, it might have gone for 4 years, but whatever are approved and planned, that are implemented. And we do have the statistics, but what you are saying is you may be interested to know that whatever were planned or in the pipeline, have they all materialized?
Yeah.
Were they all approved? Were they all implemented?
Implemented.
So that also we can have. We do have. And as the pipeline, as my colleague said, pipeline projects are all pipeline, and obviously things could change. The priority of the government may change, may shift, and government may think of other better solution of resources. In that case, ADB sometimes may have to consider, deferring or scaling down. That can happen, and this is the, of course, process. But we do have the statistics. If you are interested, we can definitely share. Let's be connected offline, and we can definitely make a summary. And we do have the sector assessment as well, how we perform. And this finance and public sector management is now becoming a very, very vital, because of the pandemic and because of this financial stress in the small and medium enterprises. This project, this sector is becoming vibrant. And for the energy efficiency project, what was the name, by the way? Bangladesh. Just a minute. You talked about which project in particular, Mr. Afzal?
BAN 54095.
That's the
Scaling Up Energy Efficiency.
That is not yet approved. It is in the plan. It is in the plan, isn't it? It's in the plan. So, Nazmoon, you wanted to give something? This is, I think, in the plan. Okay, let me quickly update so that I can answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is yeah. So this one is a sort of a financial intermediate type of a project where it will be like we do have a project like we do from the ITCOL or BIFFL or other agencies who are already working like with the JICA, with the AFD, so that type of modality is being considered recently. Earlier, it was being considered as a dedicated project loan, but now it appears that attracting other the market demand, so it will be more handled by the financial intermediaries, and it may be it is in the pipeline. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Then, if you could share the answers to my first question, it will be very nice for me. Thank you.
Answer. I think I had answered both the financial.
Yeah, I have answered both. If you have the data regarding
sure.
My first question, you could share me, and that will be a lot help for me. Thank you.
Definitely. You are from BIFFL, so you know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So that will be really helpful. We know. I think we have your contact number, so I will definitely do. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Do we have any more hand? Otherwise, I'll go to the.
Yes, Mr. Tika Limbu. I am Lutfur Rahman.
Yeah, I know you. How are you?
Yes, me fine. So I am Lutfur Rahman, additional chief engineer LGD. So I have a question and also I have a comments that thanks ADB for putting emphasis on climate change in their country strategy program. However, LGD has been successfully completed coastal climate resilient infrastructure project as a pilot basis. We have seen that many projects has been invested as a subsequent phases, but this coastal climate resilient infrastructure projects, we do not see any future projects under pipeline. So as you know that the coastal area is a very vulnerable with regard to climate change, and 12 districts were considered under the coastal climate resilient infrastructure project. But in Bangladesh, actually, there are 19 districts covering the coastal area. So I think we expect that ADB would come forward to invest another phases under coastal climate resilient infrastructure project under the natural agriculture and natural resource sectors. Because in the pipelines we saw there is no proposal or thinking about similar kind of projects. So this is one approach from my side. And secondly, I think you are aware that LGD has already established a climate resilient local infrastructure center, where ADB is also one of the member of the 20 consultative advisory group.
Yeah.
So this objective of the center is to mainstream the climate change issues into the LGD system. So I think at present, this center is being funded by Green Climate Fund and KFW, but their support will end after 3 years. And so after 3 years, this center will be transferred into revenue, or maybe it would have to be continued under another development project. So I think some kind of support also we need from ADB for this center. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lutfur. I think we should meet separately, but you have two questions. Number one is, of course, coastal climate resilient infrastructure. What is the follow-on? And the other is that the center needs to be also looked after, and we should work as a partner for this LGD's this climate resilience center. So both are well taken. I think coastal climate resilient infrastructure, the follow-on project, the name may be different, but it's already happening. Sunchan, I think Lakshmi's project. What is the name of Lakshmi's project?
Yes, actually, Tika, you are very correct. I mean, it is actually happening both in urban and rural areas. Secondary town or coastal secondary town is there, as well as in the agriculture natural resource. We have a coastal resilience programs actually coming up. So, but definitely we will be happy to discuss with LGD to further scope out of these program and projects, and then provide necessary support. But I'm actually ensuring that ADB is actually not pulling out from the sector. We will continue to support the coastal resilience and then climate change the components. So that will be there. Thank you.
Yeah, because as I understand, we have discussed, and we do have a follow-on for the coastal climate resilience, because that's the one flagship project that we had from the multi development partner funding. So it will be there. Thank you. So now we do have few questions in the chat box, so I'll go through one by one. I hope that we have answered all the raised hand, hopefully. So number one, from the chat box, I'm just reading through chat box. Let me see everyone. Okay, let me go through one. There is many. So, okay. Yeah. Now, question is, sorry, yes, give me a sec. I'm just reading through because there are many. So question number, which one is the question? Okay, of stuff that's already done. Okay, you need to, can we have, okay, that's done. Okay, resource planning. Okay, sustainability. I am having so many questions here. I might have gone too far off. Okay, one question that I have picked up here. Plan to invest in agriculture project like export to agri products. Yes, so we do have a project which is ongoing, and the project name, Sunsan, what is the name of the project, that Sunai's project? So we have that project, exactly what is being asked. Investment in agriculture project like export to agri products. So this is the project that we have.
That's true. The crop commercialization and productivity improvement project in 2023. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. So we have answered this question. Hopefully, if there is any, then please let us know. And elaborate your role in sustainable brick. Okay. SM for this. Okay. Your role, ADB's role in sustainable industry in machine-made bricks. In case of new entrepreneur, how can ADB help them? Yeah, okay. So we have completed the financing brick clean, which went well, and we had a very, it was, of course, difficult project. It took time, but this was the first project that we had completed, and we had experience. And because the projects or the entrepreneurs can benefit from our like a financial intermediary, like ITCOL. ITCOL is also our fund manager for SMADP as well as PPIDF, meaning that public-private investment, as well as SMEs. So the brick industries can benefit out of those facilities. As of now, we don't have per se any dedicated project for the brick alone, but we have the framework and we have the facility which can fund the brick as well. So ITCOL is there, and for SMEDP, Bangladesh Bank is there. So depending on the capacity and the resource need, but definitely Brick Clean is eligible for the funding under the PPIDF, as well as PPIDF Trans 2 is coming very recently, I mean in 2022. So those projects will definitely benefit, but they have to go through ITCOL. As such, ADB directly, it doesn't, I mean, doesn't go to the big entrepreneurs. So that's the answer. And so we definitely, of course, those projects definitely can help. And there are other private sector windows as well, but that will be a separate route that also is possible, which will be direct funding to the entrepreneurs depending on the appetite and the capacity and the size, the volume of lending. If it is a small lending, that may not work, but if it is like, say, 10 million or above, then definitely private sector operation wing of ADB would be interested. So that is there, and if anything very specific is needed, we can discuss. It's a good question. And okay, question is the initial video highlighted that. Okay, so we have okay, Mr. Ranjan. Okay, what is the Mr. Ranjan from Basics? Okay, the initial video has highlighted that the Bangladesh is becoming surplus country in agriculture sector. Don't you think it is the time for ADB to start investing in agri-food processing? Yes, very right. We are already doing, and our private sector wing are already working with the large conglomerate like Fran and other. So it is already there, and there are ample opportunities to engage ourselves in agribusiness. You are very right. Thank you. And what type of support will be provided in 2023 for healthcare development? Sun-chan, over to you. This is your question. Answer. Sorry.
This is under scoping. So I don't know. I mean, I had need to consult with my colleague in headquarters, but this is the overall the healthcare system. Maybe tertiary health maybe could be one, but the other the health sector strengthening, not only focusing on the COVID-19. I mean, we have done actually quite a lot for the COVID-19 response as well as the vaccine support. But this is not restricted to the COVID-19, but it's the health sector in general. So scoping work is actually undergoing, and then ADB is going to implement one quick rapid assessment for the health sector needs. So out of which actually we will identify the scope of the project and then determine the specific scope of this project. So it's actually yet to known yet, but we are happy actually to discuss as time goes, and then more the clarity is coming up. Thank you.
Great. We do have this sector, another question, sector resilience programming. I think we can, I do have your name, and we will record, and we can share later, Ms. Fatima. So this is also very important, and we are already working in the social sector resiliency. Because of the time limit, I think we can respond to you offline, and we definitely would be happy to share the details of the sector programming in resilience, social sector resiliency. So we will do that, and that already scaling up energy efficiency already done. His hand, okay. I think we are done now. Possible share of the recording of webinar. Of course, we could. That is possible. Engagement of individual consultant. What are the plan for? Okay, that is coming. Our colleague will present in the next session. The consultancy part and send video. Okay, we noted. Okay, that also is done. Please kindly video record link. Okay, that will be done. We ensure. Please record. Okay, record link. So I think that's yeah. Okay. Marjana have raised. Okay, that's many sectors in ADB. What are about IT sectors as being a sense of very project support? Yes, Mr. Rizal, we will share definitely. We have what IT and what tertiary projects, education projects are upcoming. We can provide you because we have the record. And Mohammedul Hassan, yeah. Okay, constant. I have mentioned in the presentation that there would be 150 million in 22nd town water supply. Is it related to investment program in water supply? Yes, correct. That is correct. In the Chittagong Hill Tract, including that is coming in 2022. And is there any time-bound action plan for project officers after running any project activities? Time-bound action plan? Yes, of course we do. We do, and that's our part of the implementation. And we'll discuss that in later in the panel discussion as well. You'll hear. And I think World Bank USAID will say, please let us know if there is any opportunity for ADB for conducting survey at household and organization level in Bangladesh. Okay, we will discuss that offline. We have this record, and this because this looks to be a bit different question. Share seminar record. Yes. COP26 commitment of the ADB. You may know that Chittagong Hill Tract. Yeah, and this is already done. So climate change is there. There are 2 projects on the climate change resiliency are ongoing in Hill Tract. So that's the answer. And Mr. Hassan, okay, please share that. Okay, that's already done. Yeah, CST, it is scheduled approval 2022. Yeah, that is also correct. And recording, share video, okay. Yeah, okay, I think that's all. Education project, strengthening agriculture tertiary, standby. Is there any plan to recruit firms? Yes, that will be coming in the next session on the recruitment of firms or individual that we will discuss. And positive hopefully we'll work together. Thank you for that. Okay, now, yeah.
We can continue to the next session, Tika.
Yeah,
we
no,
are
we're
7
done.
minutes
We're done.
over the
Yeah, we are done. So I think I have covered all the answer, and some of the questions that we will be answering separately based on the chat message. I appreciate to know about the consulting operator. That's okay, all done. So thank you very much for this session. It's a really very, very lively and a lot of inquiries and questions which are very, very pertinent, and a few questions that are that remain to be answered that we will be sharing shortly or maybe today, tomorrow at your address. Thank you. Now we have completed our session 2. Sorry, session 1. So we have session 2, and we will now, we have 3 presenters. This is regarding advantage of ADB business opportunities in Bangladesh. Juliamin, you are saying something?
There is one raised hand only, if you kindly consider.
Awesome. So can I hear anything?
Mr. Christopher, can
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Oh, great. Actually, I have DM Mr. Song Chang Hong. Actually, as presenting his procurement plan in the transportation sector, he says that ADB is going to finance the Dhaka to Chittagong PPP highway project, Stretcher 1. I want to know what the status quo of this project, and I wanted to ask him, is there any possibilities ADB can introduce HAM, that means hybrid annuity method, to available private sector like our company to co-finance this project, because this is a PPP project. Thank you. That's my question.
Very quickly, actually, the Dhaka Chattogram Highway project is subject to the government's actually decision. We include this as an extra indicative pipeline, but I understand it is actually there is some discussion ongoing and then some government decision on the fate of this project. So it is actually too early to make any the statement on these projects, but we are happy to discuss further as time goes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much everyone for your active participation. Now we will go into session 2, which will be presented by our colleagues from ADB in 3 different aspects on the procurement and opportunities. So Janina Rohr, our principal procurement specialist, will make a presentation first in the bidding document bidding of ADB finance projects. And that will be followed by our another colleague, Mr. Juliamin. He's a senior procurement officer. He will be making presentation on finding information on ADB funded projects. How do we find what are the ongoing procurement and consulting recruitment? That he will be giving a very lively presentation. Then also our colleague Humayu Kabir, procurement officer, he will be making presentation on preparing responsive bids. A lot of the contractors, consultants often struggle to make a responsive bids and very attractive and powerful bid document. So how to make bid document more powerful and more responsive, and that makes a lot of difference. So he will share his experience and also tips. So now, Janina, over to you, and then other colleagues will follow the session. Then I'll just jump in the end only. Okay,
Thank
Janina,
you, Tika. Thank you, Tika. Hello, everybody. My name is Janina Rohr. I'm the Principal Procurement Specialist, and I take care of the ADB resident mission in Bangladesh, the procurement portfolio. So it's a pleasure for me to be with you all. Apple, is my screen full slideshow type?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I will talk briefly about the ADB procurement framework, the new procurement framework that was approved in 2017, and the main features and why we shift to this new procurement framework. First of all, Chapter 3, Article 14 of the Operating Principle 11 of our agreement of our charter establishing the ADB as the Asian Development Bank, reads that ADB shall take the necessary measures to ensure that the proceeds of any loan made, guaranteed, or participated in by ADB are used only for the purposes for which the loan was granted, and with due attention to considerations of economy and efficiency. So these two elements with considerations of economy and efficiency are the ones that mandate the formulation of the ADB procurement framework, as we can see. So who participates in the ADB finance projects? Construction companies, many of you, general and specialist suppliers, consulting firms, individual consultants, non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, research institutes, think tanks, foundations, centers of excellence, universities, professional organizations. So we have all this range of stakeholders who participate and are interested in bidding and implementing the ADB finance projects. This slide in your screen shows the procurement cycle, and the procurement cycle surrounded by the 6 core procurement principles of ADB of quality, economy, transparency, fairness, value for money, and efficiency. And the outer cycle tells you how the project cycle goes, starting from the formulation of the country partnership strategy, which is what Sun Chan already explained, includes the main pillars and the main projects that will be financed in a 3 or 5 years cycle with the Bangladesh in this case. Then it comes to the materialization of each of these projects through the project conceptualization. Then the project is approved and the procurement planning goes alongside the preparation of the project. So we do the procurement due diligence to identify what are the elements of this project in terms of risks, and if there are risks, how we can mitigate those risks. And those elements go into the RRP and the PAM, which are the documents that are approved and reviewed by ADB management before the loan is negotiated and signed. Once the loan is negotiated and signed, the bidding documents are floated in the market for the specific packages that each of the procurement plans include. Then as you know, the bids are submitted either electronically or even in manual form, and the bids are most of the time publicly open and are then evaluated by the technical evaluation committees, by the employer, by the borrower. And then the government produces the bid evaluation report, which can be submitted for ADB for prior review if there is prior review for that specific package in the procurement plan, or goes to post-review on a sample basis if that is the modality that was determined at the procurement planning stage in the project processing. Once the contract is awarded, so then it comes the implementation, as some of the participants were questioning. So then it comes the implementation of the contracts, the actual formulation of the and delivery of the inputs, the civil works, the hospitals, the roads, the bridges, the highways, the provision of the equipment, medicines, vaccines, now that we are in the pandemic, and consulting services and non-consulting services. So these inputs that are contracted are implemented. So then the project is actually implemented. And the final stage in the cycle is the completion of the project, which is the feedback and evaluation. Again, as somebody was asking, what is the feedback? What is the evaluation of the project? Certainly, the last stage of the project cycle is the project completion report. That it's before, once the project closes, and then this project completion report analyzes how did the project do, what was the success rate of that project, and the lessons learned from that implementation. So what I want to emphasize in this slide is that the gray circles show that consultants, contractors, and suppliers, either individual consultants or through consulting firms, all throughout the cycle, ADB hires these contractors, consultants, suppliers under the ADB financed project. So most of ADB projects rely on consultants, contractors, and suppliers, rely on good consultants, good contractors, and good suppliers to implement our projects in benefit with and for the government of Bangladesh. This is important for you to know, for the private sector to know, which are the relationship and contractual and legal relationship between the stakeholders in the ADB finance project. So on one hand, we have ADB, and we are the financier only. So we do the oversight of the projects that we financed. We do not have any relationship, no contractual relationship, no legal relationship with the suppliers, with the contractors, or the consultants. It's the executing agency or the implementing agency, the borrower, in this case, any of the government of Bangladesh executing or implementing agencies who have the contractual and legal relationship with the suppliers, contractors, and consultants. So all the procurement packages that are formulated in the procurement plan are bidded out and awarded. So through a contract, then it becomes a binding legal document between the executing agency and the private sector supplier, contractor, consultants. And obviously, ADB has the legal relationship with the borrower through the financing agreement, through the loan agreement or the grant agreement. This is to say that in an ADB finance project, the borrower or the executing implementing agency is responsible fully for the procurement of goods, works, and services. ADB is not procuring on behalf of the government. So it is the government who is fully responsible for the procurement processes and the award of the contract and the management of the contracts that they have signed. The project implementation follows the terms and the conditions of the loan, the project agreement, including the use of the ADB procurement policies and procedures. Every single loan or grant that are signed with the borrower, in this case, the government of Bangladesh, make reference that any of the procurement of goods, works, consulting and non-consulting services will follow ADB procurement policies and procurement procedures. ADB provides capacity building support to bidding community, in this case, like this type of events, like BOSs, to raise awareness of what is the ADB procurement framework. And my colleagues in the next sessions, they will give you the tips on the do's and the don'ts and how to really formulate a strong, robust proposals and bids that with high rate of success and getting contract awarded. There is an exception that is technical assistance. So these are monies that are ADB money and that ADB administers. So ADB is the employer under the ADB technical assistance. And we basically recruit consultants, either individual consultants or consulting firms. As I said previously, ADB, our role is fiduciary in terms of the procurement. So we do the prior review of the procurement activities and procurement decisions of the government, and we ensure that the proceeds of the financing are used in accordance with the bank's rules. So with the bank's procurement policy and the procurement regulation. This slide shows you in 2019-2020, how it varied the portfolio, the sovereign portfolio, meaning sovereign portfolio are the loans and the grants that are signed with the government entities, so ministries, municipalities, LGDs, local municipalities, etc. So these are sovereign portfolio. And we see that transport, as indicated by my previous colleagues, Tika and Sunchan, transport and energy definitely are the largest portfolio in the sovereign portfolio of ADB and continue being the largest portfolios, followed by water, agriculture, education, public sector management, and others. In relation to 2019-2020, perhaps because of the pandemic, transport and energy, water and agriculture had reduced a bit, but not substantially, whereas the other sectors, public sector management and other sectors, like health sector, for example, obviously increased substantially due to the pandemic. In the left side in the map, you have the 5 regional departments in which our portfolio is divided. And South Asia, where Bangladesh is located, takes a 33% of the whole ADB portfolio. So as you can see, South Asia is the largest portfolio among the 5 regional departments that ADB serves. In terms of non-sovereign portfolio, these are loans like PPEs or warranties that are lent to the private sector. Is non-sovereign portfolio and gives you the figures from 2016 to 2020, how also the private sector operation has grown significantly to more than 14 billion in 2020. Now, these slides show us the top suppliers by member state. In the last 4 years, the data for 2021 will be released end of January 2022. So the data that we can share with you is up to 2020. And you see that for the provision of procurement of goods, equipment, furniture, IT, hardware, software, etc., machinery, big machinery, vehicles, the People's Republic of China and India are in the first place. Then India, Bangladesh in 2018 had a really good year. China. And also in 2019, you see that Bangladesh also is among the 5 largest member states providing goods for all the ADB 40 countries where we operate. When it comes to civil works, the same 4 years, we have that China, India are taking the lead, and Bangladesh has been the third in 2018 and 2019. And also in 2020 is the fourth member state providing civil works across the Asia and the Pacific. For consulting services, we have rather USA, Korea, India, Indonesia, Australia, and EU countries in the region. These are the top 5 suppliers of goods, equipment, 2017 and 2020. So these are the companies that have been awarded the largest number of contracts with the largest amount of contracts. So could be one, like the first one, 1, 2, 3 contracts, but really big in number. And then you have the 5 largest suppliers. In terms of civil works, again, we have the top 5 suppliers, contractors, getting the contracts in the whole ADB portfolio. So you have Larsen & Torbro, 28 contracts, almost 1 billion, Siemens 20, 800 million, China Railway 30 contracts, 593 million, Hyundai, Acciona Construction in Philippines Incorporated. So these are the top 5 suppliers of civil works in the 4 last years. And consulting services, we have SMEC, Aegis, TY Lin International, OBA Group, Korea Consultants International. So these are the top 5 consulting services across Asia and the Pacific in all ADB sovereign portfolio. When it comes to Bangladesh, the top 5 contractor suppliers for Bangladesh for the provision of goods, works, and related services during the period January 2016 to December 2020, the last 5 years, we have for goods, works, and related services. For transport sector, for water and urban services, for transport and energy, they are in the left side of the slide, you have listed the companies that have been successful in getting the majority of the contracts in the last 5 years in Bangladesh. And for consulting services, the same period of time, the consulting companies that Bangladeshi companies that have been awarded contracts in the bank. And also individual consultants, it's a good amount of individual consultants getting the contracts. Now, this slide shows you that currently we have 2 procurement frameworks running in parallel because we still have projects, a few number of projects that follow the pre-July 2017 procurement guidelines and procurement guidelines for consulting services. So those projects that were signed before July 2017 will finish the implementation of the project following the procurement guidelines and the guidelines on the use of consultants for the ADB borrowers. Now, after July 2017, all those projects that have concept paper approved on or after 1st July 2017, they must follow the new procurement framework, which is the ADB procurement policy and the ADB procurement regulation for ADB borrowers. The difference, there are several differences that we will see later in the following slides, but one of the main differences is that you see in the pre-2017 procurement framework, we had 2 books, the green and the red book. One applying for the procurement of good works and plant, EPC, turnkey contracts, and the other, the green book, applying for the hiring of consulting services. Now, the new procurement framework is only one book that covers and guides all the procurement of goods, works, EPC contract, turnkey contracts, consulting and non-consulting services. So the policy itself is a very thin booklet that has seven or 8 pages and delineates basically the core principles, the main features of the ADB framework, whereas the procurement regulations, it elaborates on the specifics of the ADB procurement framework. We will see more about this. So the core procurement principles are 6 procurement principles, and the first 4, excuse me, and the first 4 were already in the all procurement guidelines and the procurement guidelines for consulting services. It's economy, efficiency, fairness, transparency, and quality and value for money, like our BRM CD mentioned in his opening remarks, are the new 2 procurement principles that are included in the new procurement framework. So briefly, the economy means that we have to take into consideration factors such as price, quality, and non-attributes as appropriate, without adversely affecting the viability of the project. Efficiency, on the other hand, means that we have to ensure that the procurement processes are proportional to the value and the risk of the required outcome, and underlining project activities, taking into account implementation capacity of the borrower, time constraints, and cost effectiveness. Fairness, this principle means equal opportunity for and treatment of eligible bidders. So all eligible bidders from the 68 member countries need to be treated fairly and given the equal opportunity. That is why ADB prefers the open competition method as the default method. Transparency is the principle that means ensuring that through appropriate documentation and review of activities in the procurement processes, we ensure that relevant procurement information is being publicly available to all who are interested in participating in the procurement packages financed by ADB finance projects. And that is why we normally advertise the procurement plans and the IFB and request for expression of interest in ADB platforms and also in the borrowers' websites. And the new principles, quality and value for money, they are very important because these are the key that make very much the difference in the new procurement framework, because quality requires that the procurement arrangements are structured to procure the inputs and deliver the outputs that are appropriate to the standards, to the technical standards, to the quality standards that are defined in the bidding documents and that are fit for the purpose of the project and to the needs of the government that is implementing the project. So taking into account the context, the risk, the value, and the complexity of the procurement. And this is very important when the government is formulating the technical specification, the section 6 in the bidding documents, or the terms of reference for the hiring of the consultants. And the last but not least is the value for money. So value for money was already in the pre-2017 procurement framework, but in the new procurement framework, value for money is really emphasized and focused on the achievement of the value for money that has to be fit for purposes. So meaning that this principle enables the borrower to obtain optimal benefits through effective, efficient, and economic use of resources by applying as appropriate the core procurement principles and related considerations, which could include life cycle costs, and socioeconomic and environmental development objectives of the borrower. So these are the 6 core procurement principles that guide all activities in the procurement cycle of the projects. What is the procurement framework of ADB, the 2017 procurement framework? So as I said, as I showed a few slides ago, we have the ADB procurement policy for goods, works, non-consulting and consulting services. That's the first, in terms of hierarchy, the first document that regulates the framework, followed by the procurement regulations for ADB borrowers for goods, works, non-consulting and consulting services. Then we have the staff instructions for ADB staff. However, they are public document and can be accessed freely by anybody in the through our external website. And the staff instructions are on procurement, on ADB administered consulting services, and on ADB on executing and implementing agency administered consulting services. These staff instructions, as the title says, guide us how to do the procurement oversight during the tendering processes and the whole end-to-end procurement cycle of the packages. Then we have, in 4th level, the standard bidding documents and user guides. We have published in our external websites, in the procurement site, 8 standard bidding documents and 9 user guides. Especially the user guides are very useful for the bidding community, because it will give you all the indication how the bidding document as issue will be formulated. And the bidding documents themselves are templates that the executing and implementing agency will use to formulate the specific bidding document for the specific procurement packages. And finally, we have published 24 guidance notes that these are not rules, these are tools for the public, for the government, for the bidding community, that gives expanded information on several topics. For example, on the standstill period, on the abnormally low bids, on the open competitive bidding, on the fragile and affected conflict situations, on the pre-qualification, strategic procurement planning, project procurement risk assessment, value for money, etc., etc. So many topics, high value, high technology items, so many topics, 24 guidance notes that we are confident that over the years have informed our stakeholders on what is ADB's approach to each of these topics. In December, late December, this month, we expect to publish 2 more guidance notes on the use of merit point criteria for the evaluation of bids of works and goods, which is very interesting. And the second one, which is also very timely, is the guidance note on sustainable public procurement in terms of environment and green procurement. So these 2 more guidance notes will be published end of December or early next year. So what is the focus of the new procurement framework? So this is, we have put much effort in delineating and giving the tools for the procurement planning, upfront and at the beginning of the project preparation. So, and associated risks management, as I said. So we conduct with the project teams a strategic procurement planning for all the projects that are in the pipeline. So it's really discussed with the government and analyzed in detail what is the procurement context, what is the threats, the opportunities, the challenges, and the risk that might affect the successful implementation of these specific packages of the project. And then once those risks and gaps are identified, in coordination with the government, we come up with the appropriate risk mitigation measures that will help to solve these issues and achieve successful project implementation. Another focus that has the new procurement framework is contract management, because it's not only the pre-contractual phase, it's basically also the implementation phase of the contracts where the issues arise. So now we have developed the tools to do contract management plans, especially for the large high-risk transactions that should be monitored closely for a timely implementation and intervention of the employer and ADB if necessary, to warrant that the contractual issues are solved in a timely manner. So most of the packages would need a contract management plan currently. Tracking and monitoring of procurement complaints, we have posted a robust platform to for the community, for the stakeholders to file complaints if they have to file complaints. And this software allows to assign the complaint to the incumbent, to the respective project officer and to the respective director, so the complaint is addressed properly and the government can address properly the complaints. As I said, it's very important, the fragile and conflict affected situations, because especially in the Pacific Island countries, we have 9 Pacific Island countries that are under fragile and conflict affected situations. We also have obviously Afghanistan, as you can see, and other countries. So there is a expanded and well-formulated focus on this, on how to handle and how to support the formulation and the implementation of projects under these situations, and also with flexibility to respond to these specific circumstances, so to fit the purpose of these specific projects. And lastly, framework agreements. As in the EU, US, UK, and other countries, developed countries, the use of framework agreements is very wide and is very common tool in the public procurement of the government. So we have also added this feature in our new procurement framework, allowing the framework agreements both for the hiring of consultants and also for the procurement of certain items, like, for example, if there is a stationery, if there is furniture, if there is medicines. We successfully ran a framework agreement in Bangladesh in one of our projects in the health sector through framework agreements to place call of contracts for the batches of the next batches of the medicines. So these type of tools give more flexibility and also more efficiency for the government to implement the procurement packages. The main changes in goods and works, as I mentioned, we have now specifically several clauses on how to address the abnormally low bids. As you may know, abnormally low bids have been an issue that affected severely many countries in the Asian Pacific region. So we have now the provisions on how to handle the abnormally low bid in case in a tender process there might be or appears to be an abnormally low bid, that a bid is offering a low cost does not mean necessarily that it is an abnormally low bid. So these provisions allows for series of options treating the abnormally low bid. So when it's proven that it's abnormally low bid, you can accept. If it's not abnormally low bid, but it's only low bid, or if there is really risk in accepting that low bid, you can increase the performance security, or if it's definitely proven through due diligence that it's abnormally low bid, the employer has the the right to reject that bid because has been identified as abnormally low bid. But to do this, the borrower, the executing and implementing agencies need to undertake a very diligent due diligence to identify, clarify, and ultimately decide on whether or not you are facing abnormally low bid. So ADB no objection or prior review is required before rejecting a bid as abnormally low, irrespective of the review type, even if it's a post-review on a sample basis. But if you are facing, if government is facing an abnormally low bid situation, so ADB has to be consulted, and ADB will issue no objection in case that bid will be rejected. The standstill period, not many countries in Asia and Pacific include the standstill period in their national public procurement rules and regulations. But for those that include the standstill period feature, we include this feature in our ADB framework and also in the bidding documents, and may be used to allow the unsuccessful bidders to challenge the intended contract award. And the use is optional when it's mandated by the national regulations or it's requested by the borrower. So if there is the provision in the national public procurement law and regulations, and the borrower asks ADB to include the standstill period feature in the tender bidding document, so yes, we can consider that, and this feature can be included in the bidding document. And the procurement method, this is very interesting, and you need to understand, especially those who are not too familiar with our ADB framework, that the procurement method before pre-2017, we had two methods: international competitive bidding and national competitive bidding. And each country, based on the country procurement profile and risks, we used to set a threshold from which, let's say, $15 million US dollars, let's say in Bangladesh, above that threshold, it has to be international competitive bidding for civil works, regardless the nature of the transaction, regardless the risk of the transaction. And below those thresholds, the government, all packages could go through national competitive bidding with certain provisions that had to be agreed with the government that were not agreeable to ADB to make it acceptable, the NCB method to ADB. So now there is no thresholds anymore. So the open competitive bidding at international or national level will be determined at the strategic procurement planning phase based on the nature, type, and risk of the package. It could be that a package is a large amount, but there is no risk, and vice versa. And my last slide, because I'm running out of time, we also have something that is very important for the market, and is in the consideration of the historical contract non-performance as part of the evaluation criteria. So a bidder, if this is validated that a contract non-performance, so then a bid can be rejected if validated. And the evaluation, this is very interesting for all of you because we adopted the merit point criteria or weighting scoring system for the evaluation of works and goods. So as I said, end of December, a guidance note on the use of merit point criteria for the evaluation of bids, works, and goods will be posted. And it's possible, if the government wants to use this method for the nature of the package, it can be used. And finally, the bid security. This is more administrative, but helps a lot to the bidding community because we accept now the SWIFT message in the form of MT 760 as bid security, and the acceptance of bid security in the name of any joint venture partner where the joint venture has not been legally constituted. So I stop here. Thank you very much. And I give the floor to my colleague, Mohamed Juliamin, who will talk more about the ADB procurement framework.
Great. Thank you very much, Janina. Very good. So, Juliamin, over to you.
Yes, I will share with you how to find ADB information for your business purpose. And I'll go quickly, but kindly let me know. Yes, I think you can see my screen. So I will give some guidance since the time is limited. I will try to be brief. And we start with why we work with ADB. We already discussed. And obviously, as a bidder, you need the assurance that the fund is available. And most importantly, you also need to assure that the bidding purpose where you're participating, it is fair for all and transparent. Most importantly, ADB is there. We always oversee what is going on, review, so you can feel confident to go for it. And in terms of opportunity, there are opportunities that is coming now, immediately. And there are opportunities which will come in the future. So in ADB information system, website, web resources, you can find both so that you can go forward and plan and make a strategy for your company or your farm as a contractor or consultant, what you'll do in the future. So talking about future, as we already discussed, that you can future plan your business based on the country partnership strategy and country operations business plan already displayed and discussed earlier. So you know where the focus is going for ADB funding. And more like current opportunities and upcoming opportunities, you can go to the procurement plan for each project. It is displayed and disclosed for all the projects and regularly updated. And if you want to jump into any bidding right now at this time, there are two ways. One is invitation for pre-qualification. You can respond to it, make a submission, and invitation for bid, which is named normally IFB. So from immediate to future opportunities, you can find all information within ADB website without asking anybody. And the other point that I will make about consultancy, we also have a lot of consultancy opportunities. You can find it through two ways. One is the recruitment notice system, which will automatically give you notice if there is any opportunity. And if you are registered in this consultant management system, you will get it. And if you are a small business looking for a partnering with the existing companies and consultants, you can always join from the contracts awarded phase. So this is the main page as it looks now. And in the main page, if you type in Bangladesh, you will know information about Bangladesh, focus on Bangladesh only. Now, let us go to, if you go to COBP, if you want to find that, within the Bangladesh, there is a tab called strategy, where you can find all these futuristic documents where you can see. And within that same period, you will got both of these documents and you can download it. It is free for download. Now, if for a business opportunities immediately, if you go to the opportunities under the Bangladesh tab, you can go tenders, you can go find procurement plan, you can go to projects, and you can check the projects. If you click here, mention procurement plan, you can download all procurement plans under Bangladesh portfolio. If you go to tenders and projects, you can go to this site, which gives you all the tenders which are alive or active. You can see in the green, it is active. And if you sort it by Bangladesh, it is there. And if you want to participate for other countries, neighboring countries, you can always sort like that. Now, this is the procurement plan for all Bangladesh projects. all projects which are active, plans are there. If you have a focus on particular project or a sector, for example, this is South Asia SASEC Dhaka Select project, we can get it by clicking here, and you can download the procurement plan. And how does a procurement plan look like? Like this. And if it gives you all the information, all the foreseen procurement, goods, works, and services. And when it is published, as soon as the project is approved, and it is updated regularly, at least once a year. There is no doubt about it. All the procurement plan in Bangladesh portfolio is now updated, and it is complete. We monitor it. This is a procurement plan look like. This is a sample one that I have chosen from the transport sector, SASEC project, Dhaka Silet. And kindly note the name of the project so you understand where it is going. And also note when it was last updated, very recently, 2 months or 3 months back. And kindly also note that it covers the period of 18 months, meaning that it states all the packages, confirmed packages, which are supposed to happen within 18 months, plus other packages. As well as it also gives you an indication what are the methods will be followed for these projects. And if you look at the part B of this, you have complete list of the packages that will be tendered or invited within next couple of months, that is 18 months for this case. It could be even bigger, longer time. So if you go to the list in package B, you can find all the packages. Nevertheless, the future packages are also listed, but definitely the advertisement dates may not be decided yet. So those are kept under section C. So section C is future packages. Section B is current packages, where you know the exact tentative date of advertisement or quarter of advertisement. When we will examine this, for example, for this project, you see the W6 package amounting to 183 million and covering 3 contracts, meaning that 3 lots are supposed to be tendered in this quarter. And we also know that it is a open competitive bidding. You also know from the prior that it is the documents and evaluation reports will be reviewed by ADB, so you have some confidence in there. And we also see that is a 2-envelope procedure, meaning that technical proposal will get some evaluation first, and only then price will be opening. So lowest will not automatically get the job. So definitely you will feel confident that this is a very good process. And under the 3 lots, if you go down to the procurement plan, gradually you will see lot 1 details. So it is $117 million. Lot 2 is $71 million. And if you further examine, you can see that lot 1 is 14 kilo, lot 2 is, so it is by kilometer it is divided along the N2 highway. So if you go to the opportunities of, we should find this package in the website. Yes, we can find it. Look at here is a SASEC. And if you click there, it will give you the invitation for bid, which you can save in your computer. You can examine its package number. It is detailed. It is obviously, the date is 24 January, is still on. You can still participate. And you can also find out what are the components of the work. This is the rest of the part of this thing. And also what are the time period. And we see this is an international advertisement. So it is open competitive bidding. We expect that the international bidders will go. And we also see it is also 2-envelope. So all these features corresponds to the plan that was made in the procurement for this project. So we can find that 2 of the 3 lots under the package has been active for bidding. The IFB also give you what are the key qualification requirements. The details are in bidding document. You have to buy it. But as a bidder, you can decide whether you should participate or not. So both of the packages, the conditions are there. So if I have an experience of $86 million contract, and I have a $7 million in hand and a liquid asset, and my turnover is more than 54 million, I can qualify for these two contracts to participate. Not necessarily I will get it, depends on whether I have other criteria as well I meet. So the last portion of this IFB, it mentions what is the price of the bidding document, how do you get it, and if there is a pre-bid meeting, and obviously when do you submit it. These are very pertinent information that you need, all are there without asking anybody. Now, if you also see that there is also sometimes advance notice, meaning that the notice when the project has not been approved yet, so that sometimes the government takes some advance action, and otherwise it is a regular procurement notice, which is normally for all OCB we publish in ADB website. Okay, so and for nationally advertised packages, we advertise only which are 1 million plus. So if you want to join opportunities with other awarded contractors as a small bidder or a small supplier, you can also find the list of the awarded contracts. You see the name of the contractor is there, or awarded pre-qualified contractors. For Bangladesh at this time, we don't have any pre-qualified at this time, big one. But for other countries, you can see. So this is a sample. You can use this as your component. Now for consulting opportunity, the same website will give you. And there are two kinds. One is for individual, one is for farm. So this is an opportunity that you can find in CSRN as well. For CSRN, if you are registered in CMS, you can get this information directly. In order to express interest, you can do it online for all ODB projects. As a consultant, as an individual or consulting firm, you can express interest by directly online, and where everything is disclosed, including terms of reference. And if you click on the top right button, express interest. But in order to express interest, you need to get registered in the CMS, which is called Consultant Management System. It's the same website also gives access to the ES and as well as ADB staff. And register here is very simple. There are some requirements you can check out, and these are the forms, that basic data you fill out and you will get it. And if you want to have alerts for goods and works, you need to be registered in alert system. For consulting business, the alert is automatically coming from the CSRN. And these are the quick links for ADB resources. And for you, maybe standard bidding document is very important. And consultant management system, it is very easy, CMS. And we also are very keen about anti-corruption policy and integrity. And for these business opportunities, all these links will be given in this website. So if you look for something, if you are registered, you will get it later. So in the interest of time, let me hand over to Humayun for the next part of presentation about the bidding document. These are the e-learning modules. It will be, you can click the e-learn and learn for it. So live demo, I will not go for it in the interest of time. Over to Humayun, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian Bhai. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, we can see. We cannot see your face.
Okay. 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 Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Humayun Kabir, and I will be presenting the last section of this session 2, which is about the preparation of the responsive bids and the proposal. So you have already heard our two colleagues about the overall ADB's procurement policy, new procurement framework, and how to find out the ADB's opportunities in the different resources. As you have already knew that the ADB's procurement are basically the two documents that ADB procurement policy and the ADB regulations for ADB borrowers. Those are the fundamental two documents where this procurement, ADB's procurement are based on. ADB follows the international best practice for procurement. It is about the advertisement opportunities. It is a public bid opening, robust bid evaluation procedure, publication of results, and the overall procedure oversight process is oversight by ADB. And we have the debriefing and complaint mechanism, and we have anti-corruption procedure. These are the procurement methods for goods and works. We have now OCB, open competitive bidding, which is earlier instead of ICB or NCB. We have now open competitive bidding, mostly followed. And then we have LCB, local limited competitive bidding, RFQ, request for quotation, framework agreement, electronic reverse auction, borrower's force account, and direct contracting. Although the OCB is the preferred method for ADB for goods, works, and services, these procedures depends on the type of the procurement being undertaken, and it may involve for national, international advertisement. We call it OCB national advertisement and OCB international advertisement. These are the basic understanding for each procurement method, of which most of them are known by the bidders and consultants, which is limited competitive bidding, that it is instead of opening and inviting open for all, it is the direct invitation to the limited bidder. And this may be appropriate for the low value contracts. And we do have a framework agreement when the multiple bidders may be given order for a duration. And then we have a request RFQ. RFQ are for the low value procurement of the shelf goods. Basically, it's a comparison of the quotation from the several suppliers or the service provider. This is an also option, electronic reverse auction. Here, this is online event where pre-qualified bidders compete with the aim of providing the lowest price at bid closure. And we have also direct contracting. This is the least preferred method for the very special circumstances in the case of emergency situation, or for the very low value contract. We prefer to have direct contracting. We do have also force account method, where the borrower undertakes the activities using its own resources like workforce or equipment. This bidding method, that it can be one envelope and two envelope. In case of one envelope, borrower opens the technical and financial proposal simultaneously and evaluates the technical and financial proposals, and then they go for awarding the contract. In case of two envelope system, it happens separately. First, the technical proposal is open and evaluated, and then the financial proposal is open for the technically responsive bids. And then the borrower evaluates the financial proposal, and finally it awards the contract to the lowest evaluated technically responsive bids. This is the sample bidding document, standard bidding document. The contents, it has three parts. Part one is the bidding procedures, which explain how the bid needs to be, how the bid proposal to be submitted, how the bid proposal to be evaluated, and how the bids proposal to be prepared and submitted. So in this part 1, section 3 is the most important part, where evaluation and qualification criteria are described based on what actually the bids are evaluated. But part 2 is the employer's requirement. This also gives you most of the information that what are the requirements you need to fulfill for the works, what quality you need to ensure, the detail of the drawing and other sections. So this is one of the most important section in the bidding document. So please carefully look into those requirements. And the section and the part 3, section 7, 8 and 9, which are basically the forms of the contract, the GCC, general condition of the contract, the particular condition of the contract, and the contract form that will be signed, that will be treated as a contract agreement. Now, these what I have just said, these are the basic understanding of the bidding procedures and method. Now we will advise you that the preparation of bids and proposal for the goods, works, and consulting services. Please, at the very beginning, collect the information. The information intelligence. This will give you the maximum advantage to bid for particular works or goods. You identify the sector where you have the maximum potential, where you can compete others. Understand the operating context in various countries. I mean, in case of Bangladesh, try to understand the doing business in Bangladesh. And then look at your past similar project. Study the CPS, COBP, or ADB, so that give you a complete idea about the business here, the opportunity, and the procurement. As my colleague Julian Bhai explained the procurement plans, please review the procurement plans. These are all in the website. You can find it. Check the ADB website for opportunities, and you can register for alerts in the CMS. That also explained by my colleague Julian Bhai. If necessary, you visit ADB headquarters or residence mission, visit executing agencies, or you do register. That part already well explained by Julian Bhai, so I'm not explaining a lot. For the goods, works, and non-consulting services which are ADA administered, but 1 million and above, you can find all the international advertisement in the ADB website. For under the new procurement policy, any contracts that the EA wants to, or the borrower wants to be in the ADB website, that you can also find in the ADB website. And for the national bidding, you can obviously you need to look into the national advertisement in the newspaper or in the national circulation. For the international one, international bidding, not only ADB website, you can see the freely and publicly accessible website which are in English or in the newspaper of national circulation. For the consulting services which are ADB administered, you will international one, you will get into it the advertisement in the ADB CMS, which is Consultant Management System, and for the national advertisement, national newspaper, and the free and publicly accessible website, which normally nowadays it's also available in the executing agency's website too. For ADB administered contracts advertisement, you will get all the advertisement in the CMS of ADB. I think these are already you have seen. These the one how the CMS look like. You can find the opportunities by country wise, by sector wise in the here. Then you can identify the specific opportunity which are active. You can see, the good thing that you can also see which are the shortlisted firm. If you wish to associate with those firm, you can also see from here. And then if you find that you are competent to, or you have the necessary experience and eligibility to apply, you can express your interest. What we look into during the in the UI, whether your eligibility is with SE, you can apply it as an associate or joint venture, your capacity to compete, capacity to deliver, and relevant technical experience, geographical experience, and the value addition services. Now, excuse me. So as I was saying previously, before you apply, you please understand the project carefully, and you see the broader project objective, and you get to know the executing agencies and obtain all the necessary information, do the field assessment, and identify your best local partner if needed. And definitely you also the most important one is estimated the local cost of doing business for Bangladesh, like taxes and other administrative costs. And then prepare a strong proposal so that you can bid. Your proposal is the best one. You follow the instruction carefully in the RFP. Review the mandatory qualification criteria. Understand the basis on which the bid will be evaluated, the evaluation qualification and evaluation criteria. Study the terms of reference. As I was saying, employer's requirement very carefully before you apply, so that you have full understanding on the requirements and the qualifications. You do the necessary associate or joint venture to increase your capacity or your competency level to compete others, but make sure they are not on the ADB sanction list. And you do remember that you need to provide a tailored submission, not just following the template generic one. You need to submit your proposal specific for that assignment. And definitely the last one, do not provide any condition to your offer. A conditional offer are not acceptable. Okay, so this one, please do remember, these are the common mistakes we have observed during the bid evaluation, the goods, in case of goods or works. These are the common factors for which many firms do the mistake, that late submission, letter of bid not signed, no bid security or bid security declaration is attached to the bid proposal, insufficient amount of the bid security, incorrect validity period, lack of supporting documents, for example, completion certificate or operational acceptance certificate, incomplete bids or partial bids, absence of type test report, if those are required in the bidding proposal, and the conflict of interest if not disclosed. And in case of consultants, if it is a QCBS system, inclusion of financial offer with the technical offer, which is supposed to be provided separately in the separate envelope. In case of when the contract is awarded, focus on your delivery and strong performance through high quality of team, and then building strong relationship with client, with ADB, with the government. Focus on the contract management plan. It's not that you win the bid and you need to relax. You look into the contract management plan very wisely and complete your work on time. In case of the consulting services, ADB do have the performance evaluation review. A poor performance record can impact on your future opportunity. As I was saying, that ADB has a debriefing options, complaints. If you're not happy with the, if you're unsuccessful, you can request the executing agency for debriefing. If you're not then still satisfied, you may contact ADB directly. There's a complaints also. You can electronically lodge a complaint to ADB, or you can also definitely you need to contact executing agency, but you can also directly lodge the complaint on in ADB. The last one is anti-corruption and integrity. If you find there is any corruption or any issues, you can also inform our anti-corruption and integrity team. So those are the things from my end. Thank you very much for listening me. I hope these are very helpful, or at least reshuffling your memory about ADB's procurement. Now, I would like to request all of you to fill up the feedback form posted in the chat box before you leave. And now I will hand over to my colleague, Mr. Tika Limbu, to go for the next session. Thank you very much from my end.
Okay, thank you, Humayun, and thank you all for a very, very interesting presentation. Yes, the common error in the bid submission is one of the major reason of delay in the evaluation as well. And I just wanted to add one or two more point that common mistakes happens in the bid submission is often the how to treat the taxes and duties. That often creates a lot of tension problem. So yeah, that is the one. And also the lack of detail, disclosure on the experience and other, that also sometimes creates bids weak. So that's 2 points that I have to add. So otherwise it was a very interesting session, and I request that the chat box are already having a lot of information, and Janina is responding. In the interest of time, I request all participants to post their questions in the chat box, and we'll come back in the end of the session with answer. And in the meantime, I request Janina, Juliamin, and Humayun also keep responding in the chat box while we go into the session 3. So with that, thank you. And I now, finally, now we are in the final session of this business opportunity seminar, which is the panel, which will be in the form of panel discussion. And obviously, our discussion is on improving business process in construction industry. And before I introduce my panelists, I just wanted to give some brief background. That is, Bangladesh looks like the question is, the background of this panel is that Bangladesh is growing fast over the last decade. And to attain country's goal of reaching to a higher middle income country by 2031 and to a developed country by 2041, infrastructure needs is substantial. But for this, getting a quality consultants for project design and supervision and getting quality contractors for implementation of mega projects is very important to deliver the quality infrastructure. So we have the panel for the panel to discuss, focusing on these issues, and we will hear their frank opinion, the experts' opinion. And for that, we have selected 7 panel member, and I think I request all panel member to be seen in the camera as well as in the microphone if possible, so that I can introduce one by one. So among the 7 panelists, we have the first panelist I would like to request is we have our Chief Engineer, LGD, Mr. Abdur Rasid Khan. Is Mr. Rasid is around or not, Mr. Khan?
Yes, I'm with you, Mr.
Okay, thank you very much. So, yeah, of course, our Chief Engineer, Mr. Khan, is a graduate of BUET. He's also Masters in Project Construction Management from Birmingham University. He's been with LGED as a Chief Engineer from April 2020. So he's our #1 panelist. In this, this is just in the sequence, but it may not necessarily reflect all the attribute. We have additional Chief Engineer from RSD, Dr. Waliur Rahman, who is also happened to be our project director of SASEC 2, and he is a graduate of BUET, and also MPhil and PhD from University of Birmingham, and postdoc University of Leeds, and leading a project, very mega project, implementing 190-kilometer 6-lane motorway, SASEC 2, improvement of Elenga, Hatikumrul, Rangpur Road highway. Number 3, we have also very prominent person, engineer Rezaunul Kabir. He represents BAKI, that is Bangladesh Association of Construction Industries. He is a BSc in engineering, and he is the managing director and CEO of Energy Pack Infrastructure and Development Limited. He's a of course, Energy Pack is a Bangladesh-based multinational technology, engineering, and construction, and power and energy industry, and also leader of transformer, switchgear, and substation equipment manufacturing. Of course, and number 4, not the least, we have our prominent figure. I don't have to explain. I think you already have guessed this. Professor Dr. Samim Busiana. He is a president of BASE, Bangladesh Association of Consulting Engineers, and he's a prominent academician, renowned in structural engineering, graduate from BUET, master's and PhD from University of Strathclyde, UK, teaching since 1969, where we haven't born, many of us were still not born. And he became professor in civil engineering in 1981. And he is a leader in structural engineering, expert for last 4 decades, more than 40 years. And he is currently Emirates professor, and he's a chairman of Padma Bridge Technical Committee, where he solved many critical structural issues and gave very innovative solutions. And also, he happened to be the past president of Institution of Engineers of Bangladesh. And we also have our colleague Janina Rohr. Janina Rohr. She is a principal procurement specialist from Procurement Division 1 of ADB, and she also heads the South Asia procurement team. And she is a LLM in public procurement law from Nottingham University. She had work experience working for 30 years. She had worked in many countries in Latin America, Asia, Middle East, and of course, World Bank, UNDP, and now in ADB. Our 6th panelist, our colleague Nusrawan Talati, we call Nos. He is a principal integrated specialist from investigation division. He's leading several external investigation and experience in Asia and Africa. He's a certified fraud examiner, so we have to be very careful. He is, and he's also certified artificial intelligence specialist as well, over 15 years of experience. And number 7, we have our colleague Muhammad Zuliamin. He's a senior procurement officer based in Bangladesh Resident Mission, and several experience, almost 28 years of experience working with other development partners like DFID, World Bank, and of course ADB. And he holds master's degree from USA, and he has got several experience working in particular national procurement system. So these are the introduction of my panelists. So I have some structural points to be discussed, which excuse me, I'll start with our chief engineer, Mr. Khan, starting from LGED, and basically the answer to be within 4 to 5 minutes. That's all. And for LGED, of course, we have our LGED is the largest partner in ADB, ADB's projects. We have several projects, and of course, LGED has a wide network. At grassroots level, it works at rural and diversified area in geographically, and also very challenging. And implementation of projects through local government units are often challenging, and their capacity is limited. Contractors are often territorial, and that limits the competition. We often end up like a small packages, like for 20 million projects, we end up floating tenders of hundreds, several hundreds sometimes. So obviously, they are not very efficient. We do not get very good contractors to go into a very small fragmented contracts. And we struggle. Even in the EGP system, we didn't find enough contractors participating. So in this situation, my question to Mr. Khan is that how could we improve this the competition in the a local tendering process? That is one of my questions, but I also have one supplementary questions. Like, is it possible that we can have a bigger framework contract agreement with the large contractor, so that once we have the framework, it can be like the subsequent small contracts can be negotiated within the framework and within the agreed like terms and conditions, so that you will save a lot of time in procurement, and also you will end up getting a better contractor who are more capable and which will be, of course, pre-qualified. So these are the two questions that I would like to request Mr. Khan to highlight and to share your experience. Thank you. Over to Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Tika Lembu and other panelists, particularly my honorable sir is here, Shaimujan Boshunia, and others. All are experts regarding the procurement. But as you mentioned earlier, that LGED, just what I will focus on LGED. I could not focus on the other department because I have no in-depth experience regarding the other department, because their contract is always a bit bigger amount than our one. As you mentioned that LGED dealing with maximum a very lower price contract and lower amount contract. Although recently we are trying to shift our concept in the bigger contract, and some project we did that one through different processes like pre-qualification others. Regarding your first questions regarding the improvement, before going to that, I'm going to touch about some findings. Why our projects contract process being delayed? That's one is that it is the you are saying at the outset the smaller contract. So obviously the bigger contractor are not interested to come in our contract, particularly the 3 million or something like that. So that's why you have to depend on the localized contractor as well as the national contractor, and they come up with in competition of our contract. Why this delay regarding I'm coming in the procurement cycle is that when we will invite that one, and regarding the government process, we have the evaluation committee, and we have evaluated that one. And in our field level, there is some committee that has been set by our PPR, and that is allowed by the Asian Development Bank as well. So there is sometimes we find queue for evaluation that one. Still, we are trying to accelerate the evaluation procedure so that we can have the technical proposal to come with us within the shortest possible time. So, but still we are delaying in the processing. And another issue is that the one bidder, they are normally getting more than one or more than two or more than three. Even I have seen more than 10 awards in a single bidder. So that is might be one of the reasons. So in the evaluation process, that need to be considered very seriously. That is one of the cause. I think there should be the assessment capacity in force. Assessment capacity of the bidders that should be bring in the force. I think if we allow and if we apply that one in the evaluation process, then it would be great to have the how could we explain that? That is with the capacity. If the capacity of the bidders is bearable and tolerable, they could be the delivery the product in time. And other issue that is all what I am saying regarding the personal experience, and regarding the fund flow mechanism from even ADB side or even the other sources. The fund flow should be the, if a contractor assured that fund flow is will be in time, then they will do the work. And regarding the manpower capacity and pre-qualification and qualification process, even the post-assessment process, what they have put, as mentioned by Julian and his colleague, and they are not aware that one. So what they have put. So our post-qualification process, as well as the other process that should be. And the question is that main challenge what I have faced in that one, what I have did in LGED is the data of the contractor and the performance data, the work data, and there should be a data bank for each contractor or each bidder. Then that would be very helpful for the procuring entity, as well as I'm saying about the LGED, would be great for us, because that could be helpful. And though our CPTU is doing that one, and personally I have collected the data of all contractors who are doing works, and personally I am updating that data bank, but that is very much unofficial. So if we have the data bank in our hand, then we cannot go door to door to check it out, what the commitment they are doing, what the commitment they are in hand. So data bank of the contractor is very much essential to increase or enhance the procurement process time, what we are losing in process.
Okay.
Okay. And another 2 or 3 points that I have, the reasons is that, even in our PPR, and even I haven't seen in what the present situation in Bangladesh, all on a sudden the price hike of the construction materials. So what we could do? So there should be, there is a trigger point, the price adjustment point that should be considered. I think if we put the price adjustment, the clause active in our bidding document, I think for bigger contractor or even the ADB or in the World Bank, I was the project director of the World Bank. So what there we have applied the adjustment. Price adjustment clause should be in force, whatever the amount and whatever the time. That's the matter.
Thank you.
And no, yet not. But I have still some points to be discussed. As it is I did not get this sort of opportunity to raise that one, because there is a lot of great person is with me. And another problem is the subletting. How to protect that one? A contractor, a small contractor, there is some socio-political reasons. The subletting and subcontracting is another challenge in the field level. What I am saying that about from LGD perspective, again I am saying not from the other department perspective. So subletting should be, there is subletting provisions, but there should be think about that, or how could we adjust. And regarding the package size as well is the another problem. So package size should be optimal, and that regarding the package sizing, we have to study the market. The capacity market means the contractor marketing, what type of contractor, what capacity they have in the market, but that we have not in our hands. So market study of the contractor is another essential points. And also there is another the last point, but not the least, that is in LGD perspective, our geographical boundaries is one of the issues. So at least one Hojela we could make one package. Then I have calculated that that would be the optimal one. So that could be done from the ADB. And for your project in RCAP, that we have done it, but still then it is a bigger, but sometimes we made a smaller. Why we have that smaller? Because we have tendered 2 or 3 or 4 times. Even with that capacity tender that we have, that we have in the field. And in terms of manpower and in terms of equipments, that I'm not going details. Yeah. And that is the first part. And the second part, you are saying the regarding the framework contracting. Okay, that's true. The framework contracting is very, very is using in the developed country. But still, in our country, it's possible, particularly the call-off amount, that is the retail amounts, like goods and like the this sort of things. Still, even personally, I made a framework contract when I was the additional chief engineer of and looking up the education product. That is possible, but medical product, that is possible. But still, we have to be piloting regarding the civil work product. So if you do pilot 2 or 3 1, and then let us see. I have seen a lot of criticism regarding the framework contract. So I would request ADB, if you have the scope for the piloting for the framework contract, and also the framework agreement is also critical. And there is many issues will arise when we will go the framework contract. So I would request regarding framework contract to ADB. So if you could a piloting 2 or 3 for the physical works, then that would be the great.
Thank you.
I think we have the rush. You have the rush. I have no rush. You have the rush.
Sir, I think I know. I summarize.
I want to conclude with this view. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we have noted, and these are very, very valid suggestions. Like what you have suggested is that there should be enough document, the data, because what is the commitment at hand of the contractors, which are not, they don't disclose, and often they commit more than their capacity, and they end up doing nothing, and they do not perform well because it is going beyond their capacity, and there is no any limit. How do we check? That is very, very important, and their evaluation, performance evaluation also should be done. Number 2 that I have noted, and of course the package. While packaging, we have the strategic procurement plan, so that is now being rolled out. That will address a lot of the like a market condition, the suppliers, contractors capacity at locally. So that also we have noted. And of course, the subcontracting, subletting are prevalent, but the contract management of LGED needs to be improved as well, so that it can be well checked and balanced. And the framework agreement on the contract, of course, criticisms are there from the small contractors, but this needs to be piloted to demonstrate that it works well. So with this, we really thank you very much for your suggestion, and these are very valid points, and we have noted, and this is this definitely will be taken care of, and we will consider that how can we account the contractors' capacity, their commitment at hand, and how much they can work, how much they are already committed. So those things, evaluation should be done properly, which is very, very valid. And,
okay, thank you, Tika Lembu. In addition to that, I have some more few points. Then I will mail you to that one, so that
definitely.
It will be helpful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
Mr. Khan, and we really appreciate for your time. Now I have second panelist. Of course, he's our PD as well, Dr. Waliur Rahman. He's additional chief engineer now, roads and highway. Chief engineer, I mean, he had a very urgent meeting called by the secretary, so he couldn't join. So he's filling in the shoes of the chief engineer. And the question to him, obviously, is there are many, because roads and highway is a very, very big, like infrastructure, larger infrastructure sector. And obviously, we have many issues. But the first question that we have is that often we encounter in the roads and highway is that the cost overrun, time overrun during the implementation of roads and highway projects, which is very, very common. But how could we ensure, what is the mechanism that we are failing so that we often encounter cost and time overrun? So that is one of my questions. And we often also, number 2 is like, because I'm just putting 2 questions in one go. So this is number 1 question. Number 2 is that, of course, we do have a large contracts in like 100, 200 million. We already have seen in the Dhaka Sillet. And obviously, domestic contractors do not have the capacity to bid for 200 million contracts, 150 million contracts. They are very big for the domestic contractors. And they often join venture with the foreign contractors. But in the end, when it comes to implementation, the implementer, the contractors at work would be the Bangladeshi contractors, Bangladeshi consultants. So that often creates a problem because the capacity of handling 200 million contracts definitely is too much and too above domestic contractors' capacity and expertise. So obviously we suffer. But how do we manage this? So this is number 2 question. So there are 2 questions only. Now, Dr. Walliwood, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tika, and good afternoon to you all and all the panelists as well. And we all know ADB has been assisting Bangladesh greatly in the improvement of the transport sector. I would like to thank ADB for their continuous support. Although the partnership is going on well, however, there are many challenges remain, such as you said, this cost and time overrun. The main reason of time overrun, rather, I can say that in roads and highways is land acquisition and utility shifting. These are the 2 issues actually creating so much problem, because these land acquisition and utility shifting takes a long time, sometimes more than 2 years. So this creates time overrun. I think contributes to time overrun greatly. The other issues is that sometimes the willingness of the contractor. The contractor's willingness is a big problem. They are sometimes more towards profit maximization than completing in time. If from my experience, I can see that the mobilization, starting of the mobilization, the contractor takes a long time to mobilize man, material, and machine. So the procure materials, they take a long time as well. We have work methodologies, but sometimes they don't follow it. They don't follow the methodologies properly. Site management is another issue. Site management is sometimes very, very poor. And the staff of the contractor, they actually don't take the ownership sometimes. So there is some work to do in this area, the seriousness about the contractor in the site. So we have to be very, very cautious about this, and we have to have meetings with the contractors regularly so that the site management, the work methodologies are followed properly. The other issue is that the non-correctness of the feasibility study and detailed design. Sometimes during the implementation stage, we have to correct the design all over again. And this actually takes a long time, and the claim issues arise from the contractor. The design issue also, the increase of scope during the implementation period. Why increase the scope? Because of the proper functionality. So if we need the proper functionality of our roads, our transport sectors, if we have the proper functionality, we have proper functionality so we need to increase the scope. That actually results in variation and cost overrun. So when we do the feasibility study, we actually need to be very, very careful that how this feasibility has been done.
So Dr. Walliwood, so what I feel is that the project readiness are often low while we contract out, but project is not still ready because the land acquisition hasn't happened. The design, there is a lack of robust design.
Yeah.
Also, that often creates variation and changes in the cost, and you have to change the design during the implementation, which often delays, and that creates the cost overrun and time overrun. And the time overrun, as I said, also the contractors and consultants' capacity to manage the large mega projects. As I said, often you end up doing the contract implementation by the local contractors, because those big name only appears during the tendering process. After the tender is done and contract is signed, they disappear. So how you manage this? This is my question. What is the process? What is the issue here?
This is a problem. So far, this is a problem for RHD as well, because the one JV partner who has actually
qualified bidder is sometimes disappear because they don't exist because the local contractors are doing the work. But sometimes what we do, we actually, when we have a meeting, we actually call the JV partner as well to have the meeting. We try to involve them, but it's not always happening. I think we have to be find out some way how we can engage them in the work, because because the disappearing of one JV partner is actually